It is November 20th, 2025. And you just had good Nvidia earnings. You had a good jobs report, even though there was a negative revision. It did come in a lot better than expected. The expectations were like 50,000, came in at 119. And then you're even getting, wait, what is this? China Commerce Minister met with U.S. Ambassador. Oh my gosh, you're getting some more stuff there. But we were just talking about it. It's either going to do a little pop and fade like yesterday, but still be generally elevated, or it'll probably melt up. There's a lot of different setups. I would keep your head on a swivel. Do not be a dummy and be wise. There's a lot of different plays out there, but it should be an exciting day, and then it's going to lead us into next week. So today's Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be Friday. Remember, this week is kind of slower compared to the beginning and the end of the month. And then after that, I'm pretty sure next week we'll close out November, Thanksgiving, and we'll see where we are at. But, you know, people were kind of cautious for bad news, and all you got was good news. It was like good news was good news today. Would you look at that? So, Chattadonia, I hope you're ready. Came in at 119. I hope you are locked and loaded. I hope you are blessed. But here at the Cult, baby, before we do anything, before we chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I am talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So on behalf of everybody, man, for real, all the veterans, active service, past service, the families, everybody who has given up anything for our collective freedom, my brothers, my sisters, God bless every single one of you. And I hope if you haven't contributed to our freedom, I hope you could at least appreciate it and show them some love, baby. So for real though, my veterans, man, we love you and God bless you. If anybody should be benefiting, saving 10%, using the long term, get in the land, I hope you are encouraged to do so, man. Your training, your commitment, I think it overlaps perfectly, the discipline. So I hope you do it, man, and I hope we could help out with that. And at the very least, I do want you to know you are loved and appreciated, and we are eternally grateful for your guys' commitments, and I hope to see more and more of it, and I hope everybody can make some noise about it, man. So God bless every single one of you, and big shout outs to your families as well. They made that sacrifice too, and big shout out to everybody else out there giving back to their local communities, all the doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men, everybody making their communities and country run, baby. God bless you and thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise up. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Set the digits! Oh, it's game time, baby. Horn up! Oh. Dog, you're getting closer to Christmas. Next week's Thanksgiving, dog. Are you kidding me? Oh, today's Friday, Junior. I don't know if anybody told you. It's gonna be a great day. You better claim it. I hope you know. Oh, man. We said that the day before that, and I think the day before. Every day's a good day, man. I don't know if you feel me. So let's have a good one. Oh yeah, you had Walmart earnings too. They ended up being good, so that was another set that could have been bad that went good. It's funny how expectations and sentiment, but there's still a lot of people who kind of they're still doubtful. I mean, you could ask Michael,
It's still bad. What do you mean? How come they went up? They can't go. He's lying. I know Gotham. He's lying. He's like the Joker. Jensen Joker. He's a liar.
Okay, but Michael, it's all right, I guess. So we got 30 seconds. I got a couple of plays for you. I'm going to be watching Nvidia, CoreWeave, Oracle, Intel, Abbott, EMR. EMR has an event at 10. Abbott bought the company. We'll see if it does the inverse or if it actually goes up. And then Walmart and TJX. Again, TJX, I hope it has a 2-day delay, but we'll find out. We will find out. So please don't post your plays. Just post information. If you can't vibe, you'll get banned. But I think some of you saw the vision yesterday. You guys were absolutely amazing. I lowered the delay because of yesterday. You know that? I like it. I like good focus. I like good work. 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Fight. Alrighty. Where are we at, dude? Alright, where are the premiums? Where are the premiums? Are they not open? Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yes. Oh, some of them didn't do, some of the sympathies didn't do as well as expected. Yeah, Nvidia, oh, I should have told you it was going to cuck. Because remember, they were pricing in 7. It's only at 5 right now. So, yeah, but if you're in the money, near the money, you're doing pretty well. Anything else, though, is not going to play the same. And then they washed any other port. The port activity. Yeah, near the monies did fine. Yeah, that one from yesterday, I have one in the money and then one out of it. The out of the money is not doing good at all. But the ones from yesterday, you pretty much would have got the same price as the make it free. And then now watch again, whether or not you're going to fade this or continue. That's pretty much the big bet that everybody has on today. Dell, Nvidia, where's Intel? Intel, Broadcom, or Rackle. Yeah, they're got to catch up. You could, I don't know, you could go for them. Let me see. I would get till next week, though. If at minimum. I mean, you could go well beyond that, but like I'm saying, yeah, so most of them are still down, but if it continues, that will be your opportunity. Let's see. That's that. Come on, give me the candle. Yeah, XAS, that was the one, and then Abbott, again, see if they go down. TJX. Did he just start? Is that, dude, it's stupid, man. Every time. Every time. All right. Okay, they're climbing them up there on the Nvidias. Again, in the money was great, but look, go look at the chain. You'll see it. There's only 2 out of the money that are higher than yesterday. And then anything that's below or outside of that is down still. That's that. One God, one king. Let me compare one more and then we go. The Nvidia chart is so slow. All right, a couple of the other sympathies are wake. They just got to wake you up on that candle. But again, be careful. First 30 minutes, first hour, that's where, or pretty much after the first hour, you're going to really find out whether or not this will go or not. And then remember how, too, yesterday how they launched, you know, depending on how everybody felt about it, that started to move some things. They're getting cheaper until they're not. We will find out what they want. God, wait for it. Wait for... What's happening, dude? This chart won't work. My other charts will. But yeah, the premiums are going down still. Hold on. Let them wash it out a little bit. You would have already saved 50% on some. All right. Nope, they already moved. They moved the fucking bid on me. Or the ask. Boo. All right. Go small on anything if it continues, and then, like you're saying, wait 30, 40, and then take whatever you have, and then you either make it free or you continue to hold. Yeah, you got about like 30% on them. They're not really that good. Even the near the monies, it's like 30%. Kind of shitty. Kind of shitty. Fucking TJX too, bro. A little. I don't know if those even went up though. Let me see. That's that. One God, one king. Yeah, the spreads are still wide on that one too. Sweet greens. All right, it's only gonna be sympathy land. And then check Walmart as well. But Walmart at 3, you can watch Target, and then yeah, CoreWeave, Palantir, some of the other like mid-cap, mid-tier ARM, they're doing a lot better. So that was kind of the general idea that we were talking about. So like you have actually a lot better on there. But again, you guys, I hope you see it. These were big moves, but you needed to be near the money or in the money. Unfortunately, these weren't big enough to start waking up some of the other ones. But like I'm saying, now would be your moment to small double dip. But I wouldn't go too big because you run the risk of it all flipping. But then if it doesn't flip, I think you'll be fine. So again, Nvidia's already given up half of that morning move so far. And then actually, I have an idea for you. Well, yeah, good news was good news today. So everybody expected the jobs to be really bad. It was the duckonomics. You know, they thought because he was hiding the ducks that he didn't have any ducks. So then they came out with ducks, and they're like, oh my gosh, there's ducks. So yeah, good news is good news today. I mean, I would say arguably, you're going to have the Nvidia effect in the post earnings. That's all you got to work through that. But I don't think the only bad part about the jobs report was the negative print. That right there, I do think was a little bit sour. Alrighty. No, rate cut odds. I mean, the irony is that rate cut odds are moving around, but remember, there's still a terminal rate cut, or like a terminal rate. So that's kind of still staying the same. You know, people could argue about when it's going to happen, but that's there. Nvidia is going lower. My shit's not loading. Would that one work? Baba Meta. Honestly, it's good because a lot of it's going to elsewhere. So again, Nvidia is holding up. It seems like everybody's catching with that. They've already gave up too, but literally Meta's going up, Broadcom, and everybody else in between. It's kind of fascinating. And then even Amazon. Oh, where's Googly? Remember, that's what it. Google's even up 3 too. So sadly, you're in the same one. Nasdaq is up 2, but remember yesterday, just Google and Nvidia alone, pretty much all week, that kept you at a certain place. Yeah, Nvidia, I mean, these moves are pretty big. My thing just keeps lagging. All right, well, those plays already went up. So, yeah, bro, hold on. Hold on. So, whatever play I took, it already went up 30% off a very tiny move. So, that's either going to fade in 5 minutes or that'll be it, I think. Or you could just flip them and call it a day. We'll leave that to you. Is XBI rocketing? Oh, because of XAS, huh? Yeah, dude, XBI's up 2. Habibi. See that? Yeah, you got it. You have a big, it's a big spread, but you even have a solid bid on them. And then the near the monies, or some of you should have already been in the money. Those are killing it now. Good morning, Palantir. All right, well, Nvidia, everything went ahead of it. First 5 minutes, they sold off too, but now those Nvidia contracts are going higher. So you're literally 30% higher than even from the morning. I mean, in the morning you lost, depending on if you bought the first 2 minutes. But around here, all those contracts are going up, and then every other sympathy is riding with it. And now you have Tesla. Where's your boy? One God, one king, one way. That's that. Yeah, bro, my Nvidia chart just keeps glitching out. My other one works, but not the main one. Adapt. Okay, Walmart's breaking out as well too, and then a couple of other consumer stocks like Nike are following. So again, that's the other part of the good news, and the jobs. Actually, Walmart's the same situation. You have some of those out of the money plays that are still in the red. I haven't looked at where Walmart's at. Oh, they're jacking up the Walmarts now. So you either take those, or again, everything it's either you go now small or you wait, again, 30 minutes to an hour. But if it keeps melting up, you'll be disappointed. But then again, near the money. Yeah, and where is the equal? I didn't look. I think I want to argue everything's up. Yeah, damn, equal weight took a damn stick too. So you got 0.5% extra on the SPY, but I think Walmart will help that out. You're at 67.51. Remember, 6,700 is the downside zone. I mean, you have a gap to fill at 68.50 now, and then a gap to fill at 66.40. But yeah, Walmart's going up, and watch all of them. Like I'm saying, you either FOMO these now or you wait. Again, near the money, mid money is going to be your bet. Those just, oh, never mind. Those already went up fucking 30%. Jeez. That's happened twice today. So again, some of these are still in fucking mania mode. I wouldn't even call it mania, just, again, earnings, and then some of them are there. I think I'll call it the Nvidia effect. And now SPY's coming down. I don't think that's Nvidia. It might be a Google or an Apple or one of those. I forgot those apples from yesterday too, or 2 days ago. Those are still in play, but not as much. They went up, but they went up more yesterday. That move in the morning was way more gassier than the move following the event. And then you just don't have bad news. All right, now Oracle's getting clapped and Broadcom. Not as much. Oracle a little more. And then even Intel. Yeah, so now the other mid-tier tech is getting clapped while Nvidia is just still holding the same low. TMC? That's up 9. I don't, dude, after watching that LAR, there was, again, Booz Allen. They had a deal with the military, and then USAR did do a supply deal, but I think it was with a foreign country. So I don't know if that tracks the narrative. More or less. The Nvidias are still 30 off the bottom. A couple of sympathies are still up. And then a couple of down. Target down, TJX. And SPY's still chilling though. This is, you guys notice, look. Yesterday, we would have been up like 1% by now, but you're more pinned here. So even if I turn on the after hour, we haven't made a move yet. You've burned, what, 13 minutes. It may not seem like much, but you haven't. There you go. I was going to say, bro, this is actually way too contained for both everything we were expecting and most people. Most people either thought instant sell-off or melt and sell. Yeah, China had a headline too, and the page. Horna. Bradley Frizzle. Every day, baby. How do you feel about Nvidia? Do you think it's a bubble, Jensen? Jensen Peach? Are you the Jensen of the Peach? You know, we had Jensen before Jensen. I don't think they feel, dog. I don't think they feel, baby. Good morning. Good morning. Bright and early. Bright and early on the Peach today. I love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Is that real? Dog, my platform is tweaking. So Apple is kind of lagging. They're up from yesterday, but like I'm telling you, those premiums went up way more yesterday than this morning, even though it added an extra 2. When Nvidia's still dancing around. Again, Walmart, I don't know. Where's the other staples, actually? XLP is doing fine. Fine. And then XBI, again, you have a buyout, and those plays are up there. So if you didn't make your XBI Christmas gift free at 120, I think you have like 50 or 60% now. So that way you get a free Christmas gift on the house. But Or you fucking push that till the time that we initially described. But yeah, make your mind up, big bro. Come on. Come on. Tell me why. Not a bubble. Very pinned. Very pinned the peach. Pinned the peach. Jensen was hyping Zuck. Tesla's going. They had that little Saudi thing this morning too. Even Tap getting some love. What? So it's broad today. I mean, 2% NASDAQ, 165, 12 Dow, 17 Russell, but generally it's pretty broad right now. I mean, again, you're not really getting anything, and I'm pretty surprised we haven't done shit for 15 minutes. I was expecting either straight down or straight up. Like, you see how Nvidia went up and then went down? I thought the market was going to do that, or I thought it was going to rip another 0.5% and then chill out. But yeah, you're doing nothing. You're trapping it all. And then remember, next week, that's what we were saying pre-market in the beginning here. Next week, though, I would keep that timeline in mind. You know, it doesn't have to all happen today, especially with how it played out. And then remember, a lot of stuff will hit the next day. It definitely feels like it, but market could stay irrational longer than you could stay solvent. I know, man. I feel Mr. Michael Burry, bro. He keeps going off. Oh, I want to get rid of those. Where is it? All right, I closed out my gold. Those are for a loss. I don't think we need them. We'll buy them back if it starts to flush again. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Da, 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 da. What song is that? Hello, 10%. I am still holding long. Alrighty. Alright, there's Nvidia now. Bro, the premiums are up. No matter, bro, they had a floor. So even if you took any of those off the morning, as long as you waited like 10 minutes or so, you got a little bit of it. That's the trippy part. So right there's, no matter what, it held like, you gave up like 50 in the morning, and then now you're holding 30, 25 no matter what. But watch, those will go down if it starts moving up slow. Hello. Goodbye. The long term's on the high. No, the jobs are good. All right, SPY's ripping now. You're getting led by Apple. It's Google and Nvidia is holding up, but yeah, Apple is now leading the way, and I think everybody else might follow along. A couple of the sympathies, they chilled out, but now I think they were just giving some back up there. And then, yeah, they're still up, but it's not the same. Some more than others, like Broadcom. That one's starting to run a little bit better. Nvidia, Cigna, SanDisk. I read the ticker. It says SanDisk. SanDisk is the company. It say SNDK, SanDisk. What do you want me to do, Habibi? Yeah, they're getting clapped. I guess it's because people didn't really highlight the memory demand. And I don't know, you guys tell me. I know there's like big demand for memory, but like a lot of these like Blackwell systems, aren't they like combined memory? So it's like, you know, again, that's the new technological invention where you could draw memory from like GPU, CPU, all of it all at once, pretty much. Hello, goodbye. The long term's on the high. I would watch Long Term the musical. Would you guys? Would that'd be too weird. Maybe we could do that for Christmas. We could do like a Long Term musical. No? Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know. So I blame the market maker. HD. Where's Wally World? Wally World, that one's working too. Bar, stock market influencing spending of wealthier customers. AI is generating significant gains in GDP. AI yet not translating to productivity. I have no idea what song I'm thinking of, to be honest. It just sounds good. Tim Whitman slam poetry night. I'm so down. That would be a joy. All right, gold. Again, I'd close them all. I close all the puts on gold. Buy them when fucking it goes down again. Or you could even do silver to the upside if you really want to get froggy. But at the same time, I'd either play tech individual or I would go with, or like some of the staples like a Walmart. But Walmart's already too late now. Because, again, give it another hour as well. So if you feel like you missed anything right now, I wouldn't get too ahead of yourself because all it takes is one little slowdown and all of these premiums are already weak. You get what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, was there 30 to 40% off of the open? If you timed it right, there was, but these premiums are not strong today. So at the same time, it has to either really melt up or it's going to pull back, and then you could double dip if you feel the same way about it. And even taps going up, man. Nvidia's chilling, man. It's looking like one of those. I'm surprised. This is a gentle melt up. You are at 1723 on the Nazi, but I think it'll juice up if we could get above like 2.5. If you get over 2.5 on the NASDAQ, it might just magnet up to like 273. Yeah, Meta is the big mover here this morning. That one started off good and just kept going. It kind of has Walmart vibes where it just straight up. Straight up. So again, what if you think if it's not red or cheap now, try to go near the money if that's what you're going to gamble on. And remember, you could always do nothing and hold the long term. But yeah, I think you'll get another shot at any of these. Hopefully, if I'm wrong, then it's going to melt up and then you'll really get FOMO. But so you got to decide, choose your frustration. But like I'm saying, the thing I'm walking away with right now is that premiums are not strong. They could get a lot stronger, but it's not like you're holding strong premiums that are like really decisive with all this. Like more hype, they would hold up. This is more gentle than not. And that's why if it moves up slow, the premiums will come down. And then XBI again, where is Abbott? Yeah, Abbott's still down. That's the one. We played the downside on that instead of the upside on XAS. Bar concerned that inflation is still at 3. AGIO's up 11. And then GE on the high right now. Again, 2.2. And then again, what's the other one? TMC? Some of these mineral metal plays are going up. Orla. Hello. Oh, where's Netflix? I was moving. You're gonna get WBD headline. Yeah, whatever AGIO, dude. That one's going. And then Broadcom looks to be the best sympathy, post sympathy, because that one's up. That one's up more than Nvidia now. Actually, Nvidia's climbing too. But yeah, most of them already faded. They're either holding like 1 to 3. But then anyone trading above 5 sympathy to Nvidia is good. Again, CoreWeave's at like 9. Well, actually, CoreWeave came down to 6. Who's the other one? ARM. ARM at 3.2. And then Walmart's still up. Those premiums 20%. Hello. Goodbye. SPY almost double the equal weight. Well, yeah, dude. You got Google, Meta, all of them. And then equal weight's actually coming down right now. So watch, if we start to move up here, it's going to be moving. They're moving out of the everything else, and it's more concentrating in tech. But again, even the sympathies are getting love on it, so that's at least the good part. All right, now Nvidia might break out here. I think it was up way more pre-market. I think it had a 5.5, yeah. So your next target will be like 196, and then like then literally 196.70 or like 197 flat. And then if it gets above there, I think that's where the premiums will go crazy. Go long, farewell. I think that's the song. I'm not too versed in the Disney pop music. No, but I know Blackwell. Blackwell. Wind is going up. I don't know. China's doing good, and we had that literally right at the bell. You had the China ambassador headline. All right, remember, like I'm saying, this little pop, it looked good. I'm still shocked by how flat this is. You guys understand that? Again, I don't think, was anybody expecting this? I think more people were expecting either straight up or straight down. At least I was. So yeah, you're more pinned than not. So that means there's a lot coiling up here for good or bad. So like I'm saying, I'd be prepared, or again, you could just enjoy the show. Broadcom's really going. All right, a couple more sympathies are trying to catch a bid too. And then again, Nvidia is at the breakout level. It's gonna get above here. You'll play the 196 range, and then 197 gets you out of the. That's what gets you out of the pre-market range. Unity. TJX. Who's the other one? Wally World. Wally World's still going too. Damn it. Wally World should lift up the staples, but it's kind of slow. Remember, equal weight was just going down. A-Lab with a decent pop. $2 pop on A-Lab. It's already up 10, and then SPY's going up too. Yeah, you're just under 1%. You're doubled up on the normal SPY. 1.8. Now you're at 2.5, 2.48. Like I'm saying, if you could get above there, it's going to give you a lot more upside. Otherwise, if we get pinned here. But then again, today's already trading a little outside of expectations, so I don't know. Head on a swivel. Be ready for it all. And it's only been like 25 minutes. So long, farewell. How did that get stuck in my head, dog? What did you say? How did that happen? It's bullshit. Tesla, GE, Nvidia's dancing. Uranium now, it's like the second one I've seen. And now Constellation. And he had the headline this morning. Booz Allen did nothing with the contract. A lot of biotechs. Baidu on the low. That one's interesting. Yeah, Tesla and Broadcom are doing very good. That core weave, that one's going to be tough. That one was a good gapper off the morning, but I thought that would have held more. And then there's Walmart, like we share. Oh, my bad. I hit the chat. Now Sunrun and Solar, we've seen a couple of those, but other than that, Habibi, you'll be fine. I don't know. This is kind of different than the gap and trap. Like I'm saying, I thought I had two options in my mind. It was either going to just fucking launch like yesterday and then die after like 30 minutes to an hour, or it was just going to die right off the bat and then kind of meander until you got the next thing. But instead, we stayed pinned for like roughly pinned for 30 minutes, held us extra 7.5 off of the damn jobs report. And then now, yeah, it's just moving slow. So I think all those, you could sell off, you could still melt up. Those are both in play, but it's definitely walking the ball up the court. I thought we were going to get some more pressure. And it doesn't really make sense because of the timing. But then again, too, like I was telling y'all in the morning, although this is like you got good news, a lot of good news, you got to alleviate a lot of pressure. Just remember, today, tomorrow, this is like slower. Next week, that's when all the money comes in. Even though it's a holiday, that's where usually things get a lot better, is the last week of November. Rep Cleo Fields buys Apple and Netflix. Hey, I think we should ban everybody in Congress from trading. And taking money from Jeffrey Epstein. But that's another topic, I guess. It's a different Jeffrey. Okay, really? What an idiot. Hershey's. Broadcom again. Yalla. I think, man, Nvidia, Walmart, those are the big ones. Those are still going, and it's so gentle. So gentle. Danny here, another bio. Existing home sales, 4.1. Estimate was 4.08. Came up 1.2 versus 0.5. That's another set of good news. So again, the bonds are going to do whatever, but I hope you guys see it today. All the news is good. Good news is good news. So this is what I explained this morning. You guys remember my duckonomics example? Remember when I was trying to explain to my girl how the earnings worked? Because she was asking me how come the earnings went down if it was good on Palantir. And I explained it, how her dog would view it. So it's the same thing. You know, I've been telling you guys this for a couple of weeks because everybody keeps like promoting this idea. And they're like, Donald Trump, the data, they're hiding something. They're hiding. They don't want to release the data because it's bad. So it's pretty much Donald Trump is like, yo, we don't have any ducks. I'm not going to show you the ducks. And then the dogs are like, what do you mean you're not going to show us the ducks? It's because you don't have any ducks. And they're like, oh my gosh, he won't show us the ducks. That means he ran out of ducks. And then Donald's like, no, I'm not showing you any ducks. So then when he comes out with ducks, they're like, oh my gosh, they start wagging their tail because they love the ducks. They can't help it. Right? And then they're like, oh my gosh, he has the ducks. I thought he didn't have the ducks. And then that's how good news becomes good news. That's why the jobs today, existing home sales right now, I mean, all in all, I remember this coming into these last couple weeks, everybody is insinuating this idea that if the data doesn't come out, it's terrible. But in an odd way, like I think it's helping to have good news be good news. And I think that's exactly what the administration wants. So yeah, I hope that's easy to understand. The duckonomics, bro. Duckonomics is giving a lot of insight. Hello, goodbye. The spy is on the high. Release the dogs. Wolf. That's up 15? Jeez. So yeah, that's even climbing right now. There's a couple, man. A couple of these small ones. Google just passed Microsoft in market cap. Now the third largest in the world? No way. All right, well, you got 2 minutes from the data, and then you're getting your first little red candle. You got a couple of those today, but that one's like kind of sticking out, but not anything serious. Let's see. J&J, PG. PG actually went down for a staple. Meta gave up, actually. Meta was leading pretty strong. So watch if Broadcom gives up or any of the other sympathies in between. I know CoreWeave did, but it's still up a decent amount. I think Intel chilling. Now Netflix on the low. Dog, definitely hit that level. It hit the 115 and it just went down. Oh, man. And then, like we said, the indicator. If we don't hit a new high in the next couple of weeks, yeah, you're fully in Chop City. So that's the downside, but do not be afraid. Goldman and banks are moving up. More uranium, metal, materials. Again, SPY's still doing this thing. It's moving a lot slower. BMY and Merck on the low. And XBI still hold. It's all the XAS deal. Pfizer down. Remember a lot of the healthcare. They have been rallying all week, pretty much all week and a half. So now Nvidia does good. They're not getting as much. You might rotate out of the rotation. That could explain some of this slowness. All right, Walmart again. Walmart's really strong. Again, the earnings was good, but then also people were tripping out about the CEO, if you recall. XBI still have a bid. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, the apples too. I haven't put that one up. Apple's like gently melting. That was weird, man. Because again, it was up 2% and then it had less than yesterday. But now, yeah, apples, the premiums are holding a lot better now. All right, see if we touch VWAP, but you are coming down slightly. Everything's small. You hit 2.5 on the NASI, but you didn't break out of it. And then 1.8 on the SPY. Equal weight already went down. Russell's up 2.2, and then Dow 1.4. 705. Let me get you guys a checkup. Ooh. So yeah, you have a lot of room to go down. 420 names are in the green, 80 in the red. NASDAQ, you got 80 in the green, 20 in the red. So it's everything's 80%, 90% green right now. And then Dow, 24 green, 6 in the red. And then most of the ones in the red are all damn staple companies. And a couple of healthcare. Amgen and Merck are red on the Dow. McDonald's is red. Boeing, Coke, Verizon, and P&G. All right, first candles. Bonds are not related to any of this right now. They're just climbing. Meta and Oracle. So those are the ones flushing right now out of the sympathies. Those are the closest to going red. So again, all the other ones are green. And then who's the other one? Broadcom. So why? If Broadcom gives that up, that'll be ugly. But then again, as long as Google and Meta or Nvidia hold up, that's the bulk of the gains. All right, now you're getting, come on, baby. Now we're getting some moves. Staples are still going, or at least the winners. Nike and Converse are partnering with Netflix to introduce Stranger Things collection. Well, Netflix still going down. CRNC up 49. All right, well, you tap VWAP. Tap VWAP, couple sympathies went down. Look at the low ticker, though. You got a little burst of downside from that. Google introducing Nano Banana Pro, state-of-the-art image generation and editing model. Check Adobe. Adobe's not reacting to that, but have you heard of Nano Banana? Oh, wait. I've heard of Nano Banana. Oh. Wait, Nano Banana is like very powerful. I saw it. Somebody made like a crazy deep fake with it. Yeah, I remember it. I saw it. Dog, it's crazy. I think Nano Banana was some of the best. Like, you could generate images that are like indistinguishable. Like, I'm telling you, like they did some crazy ones with like P. Diddy and shit, and it looked real. It was insane. What do I think about Japan's 30-year high hitting fresh record highs? Same thing I say every day when they ask me. I even talked about it while I was in the bathtub. But I think there's some things going on there, and you got to follow their economy. But I would be more worried when the yield comes down now. A sharp decline in the yields of Japan, that will probably be what you're looking for, or why you're asking me. Goodbye. The long term's on the high. I don't think about that company. I think about Conagra. What is right? Conagra is what I like to think about. I was in bed yesterday, and then I was like, Conagra. I just started dreaming of Conagra. Speaking of the devil. Hey man, you use the long term to buy a house you're no longer renting? Wow. Horna! I love it, brother. Welcome. It's a big step in life, and it's a good one. I hope you didn't overpay, and if you follow the rules, it will be a blessing, brother. And even if it wasn't, you know, you'll find a way you'll get a lesson. But I love it. That's another homeowner in the chat. I think we have the most homeowners out of any stock market chat in the world. the amount of homeowners we have is unreal, man. And I hope it helps you guys get more freedom and more freedom to do whatever you want, especially with markets. And now I hope we build equity. Vance, I assume market is going crazy over jobs report. No, Vance. Now we're back to open. So 1.6, you hit what? Only like 0.3 though off the NASDAQ. So hold on. That wasn't that bad. Yeah, like, dude, it's that Google Nvidia shit, dude. Google up 4 or 3 and then Nvidia up 3, dog. It really distorts some things. Job growth is going to native-born American citizens. That's what Vance says. Well, yeah, I mean, it is kind of like, did you see the what's it called? The North Carolina? So like North Carolina, like people are like, it's empty and people are protesting, but like, dude, there's like a bunch of construction sites that are empty. And like some people are saying it's bad, but like, isn't the idea that should go to like American, like none of you guys want to do construction? You know how much they fucking pay? So, yeah, but that I did start seeing those yesterday and people talking about that. And that's kind of, again, we're not adding government jobs. And I think you're going through a transition to get the jobs back to you know, domestic workers more or less. Maybe domestic isn't the right word. Yeah, well, they're saying the kids missed school, but like the kids protested. So it's not like they were scared to go to school. There was a lot of kids who did a protest. But the thing that caught my eye was the job sites. All these construction sites are empty, but I mean, it just means they were hiring, you know, illegal labor or illegal immigrants for labor and probably underpaying them and then getting these fat ass bids to build these buildings. So that's what everyone has to reconcile. Not only did people get mad about the whole immigrant deportation thing, but I mean, how do you feel about those potential jobs, and what do you think? I mean, we'll see, but that's the part that really stuck out. Think it's more fear that they're in town, the laborers are legal but still harassed? I think that's a rosy way to look at it, but just don't underestimate like some of these companies like Swinnerton. I mean, they have hundreds of millions of dollars, aka they get very big contracts. So I don't think people aren't going to show up because they don't want to get harassed in that sense, as much as like if you're illegal, I wouldn't show up. I mean, I understand that. I remember I used to tell you guys how San Diego was back in the day. Like, I remember, like, people would yell La Migra and go crazy and run and shit. And it was, like, intense. And, like, the Home Depots and all that. But, like, don't underestimate these other companies. I mean, they get big money, and these are big money projects, and they'll pay people big money to build them. But I don't think it's someone can work, and they're getting paid a couple $100,000 a year. That's, you know, these construction guys make a lot of money. I don't think, or it's their only source of income, I don't think they're gonna not show up if they're legal. But if they are illegal and risk something bigger, then they won't show up. I mean, that makes more logical sense. But to each his own, I guess. Because a lot of these construction sites are bigger. They're big corporations. They're not small. Well, yeah, they do. I mean, that we could talk about the labor exploitation, but maybe later. Because last time we brought up anything, someone was like, all I think is the child labor. I'm like, you have an iPhone. You have an iPhone. American Eagle. I don't know if you're going to get Sydney Sweeney. But all right, you came right back down. You're back to the opening candle, but remember, that opening candle had a little extra juice from the jobs report. Why'd you have to say something, JD? Yeah, I mean, the Ford guy said that they had like 5,000 jobs, but then if you go to the website, they only had like a couple hundred jobs available nationwide. It was pretty funny, but I think people just want to bring up the discussion of just like there's people who don't want to do, like, they're not that they don't want to, but not wanting to led to it, but like you just don't have people trained. I don't know. You guys remember we were talking about like being an electrician, and I was telling you guys that, and then, you know, we even have a couple Chads doing it. I have a couple young Chads getting into like electricity, and I was like, dude, that's genius. I said, you're going to be very valuable moving forward. It sucks because how many people have this view that like manufacturing and these jobs, like the last like what 20 years, people try to tell you that those are like grunt jobs, but it's slowly flipping, because the reality is that those are going to be the very in-demand jobs that you could like build a fucking career off of, a real good one that's high paying. I mean, a lot of people say it's because of they say Americans don't want to work for wages, but at least in the real estate stuff, I mean, most people will do construction. It pays good even for the illegal immigrants. XYZ again, and then Caesars, you had Win going up earlier, but the scammy part is just that these companies bid. So they get certain contracts and all these things, and then they'll just lowball and then hire people at cheaper prices, and then it kind of claps some of the other companies that would have had another opportunity with workers that are getting paid a pretty sizable amount. So then if the company can't get a contract, then they can't pay those prices. So I think we're going to go through a little bit of a transition. I mean, you're going to go through a transition of of jobs switching around, both like industry, professional work, as well as like illegal, to opening up the market to, if you had fair bidding or different types of bidding, I think we would see a different reality, but it's going to probably be very bumpy in the process. Fed hammock jobs data looks mixed. All right, you hit the open and then bouncing again. A couple of hospitality plays. Square taking bigger candles. That was a good one from yesterday. Fed hammock job data highlighted challenges faced by monetary policy. Yeah, HVAC repair. You guys are gonna kill it. So I'm saying, bro, a lot of these jobs that people have, most like intellectuals and snobby college people have like said that that's why they went to college. They're like, I'm gonna study art. People have really talked down on like manufacturing jobs and shit, but like, I don't know if you guys realize it, man. Until there's fucking robots, AI ain't gonna fucking electric itself, dog. I don't got any HVAC. You can't, even if you got a Blackwell, dog, you're gonna need somebody to put it together. And a lot of people don't know how to do it, let alone want to do it. That's the irony. But yeah, they're really high paying jobs. I mean, again, you guys could all build businesses around there, but to each his own. I like electricity. I think electricians, you guys have a very unique opportunity ahead of you. Into it, I think they have earnings today. I want to just learn electricity just to learn it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to like learn it. I feel like I'll electrocute myself, but that's why I probably need to learn it. But yeah, I feel like that would just be fun. You're in manufacturing. It's remarkable how scarce it is to find. Dude, this is what I was saying, man. Last like 20, 30 years, just a lot of things have now, there's been enough time to, you know, if there was a famine and the seeds weren't planted, I mean, it is going to be harvest time eventually. Which one's that? Yeah, FedEx going up. Spy's just dancing around VWAP. What a mix of the days. It's been about 90 minutes now, or an hour, 50 minutes. But you're right at open. No melt up, no melt down. Ford is melting down right now. Ford just took a candle. Vance asking Americans for a little bit of patience on prices. It was a couple minutes ago. I mean, you can find some corporate bond data online, but you are going to need depending on how deep you want to go, you're going to need certain access to certain financial data. It's not as easy accessible. You could check HYG, or you could go through prospectuses and kind of track some of the offerings, but that's a lot of work. However, with AI, it might make it easier. A reverse split ETF. That usually just, are you talking about the VIX? Because it does that after a while. That's why you can't hold them for long, but it's gonna you're gonna get diluted, and it'll be a lot harder to get your money back. That's usually what happens. Yeah, bro. What's up with Ford? They're down 1-3 now. Hello. Goodbye. All right, the high ticker is kind of moving up though, and then a couple more staple consumer stocks. Nike's on the high, Walmart's still going. Medical's not doing as good, and then oil running up right now too, and UNG and home builders. Again, you did have just existing home sales beat. Yeah, medical plays getting clobbered. Ironically though, XPI just all because of that deal. Okay, a couple more sympathies are picking up. Watch the Nvidia. That might have been the open. Yeah, the Qs did do that today. Okay, yo, you're waking up. Hi. Yeah, it's equal weight this time, mother effer. So look, I think maybe equal weight was just catching up. If equal weight goes and then the tech could go, Nvidia, all those, you're just going to start moving up in tandem. Look at the high ticker. Again, you had the data. Good data again, sold off a little. Bonds didn't really react. And now, yeah, just allowed the equal weight to match up. So SPY and equal weight are doing a lot better. And then you're back to the 2-3 on the NASDAQ. All we had to do was talk about labor and immigration. Look at that. Let's see. Another fire breaks out at an aluminum plant in Ford. Oh, is that why it went down? All right, now you got XBI. I think you got more staples, man. They all are at least holding pretty steady. Habibi. Yeah, and oil is ripping. Adobe went up on the nano banana stuff. It didn't even go down. Trump on Truth Social. Seditious behavior is punishable by death. I feel bad for laughing, but then like, yo, do you guys know what he's talking about? you had like a group of these people, like they made a video, these like governors or whatever, or is it governors or people in the Senate, and they were like pretty much telling people to like defy orders, and they were telling the military, they say, if you don't agree, don't do it. Yeah, Whirlpool is gassing. Look at that. But, and then Yum. Yeah, they were asking the military to rebel. You guys know that's how, like, military coup starts, right? You know, like, hypothetically speaking, if the military was like, nah, we ain't gonna listen to you, Trump. Like, all of them, you realize that's like a coup, right? Like, I don't know if you guys know history about it, but that's literally a coup. I don't know if you knew. That's why they're saying, like, sedition, treason. I don't know if you guys knew that. So it is, like, usually, you know, like, these guys don't say that out loud, and they don't try to get people to do it, because, like, yeah, bro, if it happened, that's a coup. That's, like, the definition of a coup. You like, I just bought a coupe, Josh. I like a coupe. EV. That's not what we're talking. A coupe. It's spelled the same, but it's not a two-door. But I fuck with it, though. I feel you. Kenview. All right, Kenview's starting to gas a little bit. And Kimberly and Spy's almost back at the high again. Let's see. Nvidia's just doing decent, but the premiums did chill out, and then Google's the one holding up. But that broadened out right there. That drop was like tech got killed a little, but then you broadened out with a decent amount there. It's not, I don't think you got more green names, but remember, about 80-90% is up. Yeah, NASDAQ 85. You actually had 5 go red. And then Dow, you had 3 names go green on the Dow that were red. And then SPY, you're at 65. So yeah, you're doing a little better. 20 names on the SPY went green that were red in the morning. Well, they're probably going to say they're not trying to overthrow the government, but it's a slippery slope. I mean, again, calling and trying to get people to not follow orders. Remember, I mean, this, if you really, the light version, it goes back to our economic lesson on state strength. The harsh version is like you're one step away from a fucking coup. So I don't know. I gotta meet me in the middle somewhere and you'll figure it out. But yeah, it's still odd. You don't see that every day. You saw a post saying it only takes 3% of us to overrun the military. I'm sure. I mean, I remember we talked about it in the beginning. Like, do you realize how big California is? Like, so yeah, but I had this talk the other day with somebody because I was explaining solar flares. And like, you know how like we had the cloud flare and there was something else that happened, or the northern lights, and they were like solar flares. And like, you know, if there was ever like hypothetically like a weird solar flare that like turned off the fucking grid and shit, a bunch of people would die. And like somebody was like, would you want to be there at the end of the world? I said, no, bitch. Like, you know how people like, you guys are like, we could overthrow it. Like, bitch, I like society. Do you understand? Well, I don't like, I don't want, like, I feel y'all, and like you can have certain things, and like I hope, like, it's not I don't want to be I have a farm, dog. I don't want to have to farm, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, do not, I like watching the end of the world movies. I don't want to live through that. I said, take me, Lord. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck all that. I want, nah, man, nah. So yeah, I mean, you could overthrow whatever the fuck you wanted with enough organization, but I don't think y'all want that. I just watched a bunch of people complain about not getting things from the government. I'm like, what is going to happen, dude? What happens after you overthrow shit, dog? Like, what do you think is going? Like, yeah, like it wouldn't. I don't know if it's as fun as people think. Yeah, civilization go hard, bro. Don't, you know? It's easy to take it for granted. You know, civility is not. It's not a bad thing. I don't, you know, sometimes people are oppressive and weird, and it's not, you know, you may not agree with everything, but like even then, even under Biden, bro, I would have preferred civilization still. Wells Fargo says they should cut in December. Alrighty, I can't believe the biotech. That one's weird. Oh, it could be Mr. Biogen. Oh, and you had regen up 4. Nat gas storage minus 14 versus estimate of minus 15. Like you judge things by the consequence. You know, real wisdom, my brothers. That's why I said, like, what are you gonna do next? Okay, let's go past the, okay, you can overthrow the government. What happens next? Then what are you gonna do? How are we gonna select? How are we gonna eat and shit? What about cleaning the water and all the other shit? Are you gonna just start driving? What about getting gas at the gas? What about Costco? What the fuck happens to Costco? You don't read. Last time they took all the toilet paper and you still had civilization where you had to buy the toilet paper for $1,000. But what happens to Costco after you overthrow the government then, dog? The fuck, y'all gonna end Costco? Y'all want to get rid of Costco? Oh, just yeah. So that's what happens next, and then tell me what happens next, and then get to the end. That's the issue that I have, because I'm like, nah, man. It seemed good in theory. Yeah, and don't underestimate the violence too, because then what's gonna happen is that there'll be violence, and then like smart people are gonna die. I'm laughing right now because I do not understand. So let's say you get to the point, you overthrow it, there's violence and conflict and casualties, and then now you're just left with like only a couple of smart people and a bunch of idiot. How you gonna start selecting people to run shit? You gonna be like, we would have had this guy, but all we're left with is Bob. So Bob, you are now in charge of the government. Bob, y'all don't feel me, man. I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. You not get it? Yeah, bro. You go, no, the supply of like viable like thinkers, workers, everything combined. That's why civilization go hard, dog. Y'all don't underestimate that. It's literally Idiocracy meets Mad Max. Yes, that's a great way to put it. Like, you have a civilized society now, and we were just talking about not even having a supply of people who are willing to do certain tasks. What happens if you had a conflict? You would just, I don't think you're gonna be left with the best draft class. You know what I'm saying? Bobby's like, I'm in charge now. My name is Bob. I am now your leader. Oh shit, you're right. We did just elect you, Bob. I guess you are the leader now. All right, makes sense. You would like to go back to no stores and everyone trades and only worries about necessities? I understand the sentiment, but I don't want that. Nah, fuck that. I want Amazon same day delivery. Okay, you know why? Because I grew up without Amazon same-day delivery. I don't know why we'd ever go back if we don't have to. That's crazy, dog. I had guys dropping shit off I furnished a farm in a day. They just came and dropped it off for me, bro. That's insane. That's it. I wouldn't want to fucking have to plant the tree, cut down the wood, trade the wood, and then, oh man. TTD kind of launching 2.2. Hi. Couple of value names did really well today, or like kind of beating down growth. I think it's a mix of rotation that's slowing us down, but also I think because the expiration, and it's a slow week. So next week, I think you're going to get the big move that you thought you would have had today. But today's not over. I mean, it's still holding up pretty sizable. You're at 2.4 on the NASDAQ, 1.8 on the SPY. It's slow, but then again, it's only been 1 hour. But it's not the worst. But I do think you got more in store for next week, if anything. Oh, Nibis. I forgot about old friend. They had a China soybean headline, but I don't think it's going to move anything. There was one in the morning, too. All right, you're working your way up. If we could break out. This was a broadening out. Like I'm saying, I think SPY and equal weight, or the equal weight and the NASDAQ kind of matched up. Equal weight tripped out a little bit, but it's kind of better because this morning at the high, you didn't have this. You had some names kind of lagging. Now, everything's kind of going up. It's slow, but no man left behind, it's looking like. And now Caesars and Win again. Win's lagging a little bit. Again, don't underestimate Apple. It's quiet, but Apple and Google are a way bigger factor of today, and as odd as that may sound. Because you would think it would be the Nvidias and now Broadcom came back up too. Google's bigger than Microsoft now. That's today. That's crazy. And then XBI still, man. Merry Christmas. SoFi. So again, you're broadening out. It's not just this morning you had a majority of names up, but you literally just brought everybody on board right now. And then there's Walmart again. This was your double dip, but they never really got that cheap. Tell me why I never wanna. Yeah, they're 100% on the Walmarts. You can make them free if you'd like. I push it to the limit. Long term. Not just give a girl and push it to the long term. Okay, new high. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Push it to the long term. The 10%. I could just picture, that Scarface scene where they play that and he's like going to the Porsche dealership and they're like cashing the money. I just imagine the Mad Max Idiocracy version. That song's playing and they're just like, some guy's just like, I don't know, and he's like trying to drive a tank and shit, and then they're like, yeah, and they're like trying to put shit together, and then it just keep falling over, and they're like, and then they like, fuck, they're like trying to get water out the tap. He's like, no, and they're just like going to a dirty ass swamp. And then they're like looking at each other like, yeah. Oh, I wish you guys could see what's in my head, bro. I wish, because like I get to watch movies in my head, dog. It's crazy. That was great. All right, I'm gonna go pee, man.
And growing.
The tiger eats everyone.
That they've got to rethink.
Then someone puts up a sign, save the tiger.
And a chart.
I'm like, oh,
and
man.
they've got to think about, do they believe they got a business?
All right, BRB. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Coke News on Twitter, Banks, and
if
Amazon.
They do, they may have to do like Verizon, which carries a higher valuation than the cable guys, and pays out almost all of its free cash flow as a dividend, right? So some of this is just in the nitty-gritties of financial reward to shareholders, in my opinion. When Warren Buffett, Berkshire, I'm not going to blame Warren. When he decided to sell down his charter stake, okay, that was sort of a signal to institutional investors that, you know, is this a thing to be in for the long run? They didn't. It's one of those sell-offs that didn't bounce. You know, the dead cat bounce didn't happen.
I mean, and they're
Yeah.
amidst obviously of acquiring Cox.
Yeah.
It's a very large deal.
Yes. Now here's the dilemma: Cox and the new houses have a better deal on a repurchase of their shares than they do on a dividend. Better tax outcome. So there is some pressure to stay in a company like that
As
with
opposed to doing what you're describing.
instead of doing what I'm describing. I do think that if you want credibility in the marketplace, you're going to have to demonstrate you can pay a dividend out of free cash flow.
Right.
And these businesses should be utilities. They will be over time, David, in my opinion. There'll be enough aggregation, enough consolidation to where the economics of these investments makes economic sense.
Well,
and at that point, they become utilities.
On the subject of consolidation,
Yeah.
I mean, it's over 30 years ago, you were about to sell TCI to Bell Atlantic, right?
Correct.
I mean, do we ever go down that road again? The, Comcast and
We should.
and
We should.
Charter both have growing wireless businesses. That's one of the only things they can point to that's growing.
This is all in regulatory. Anything that will be more efficient for the industry and the society at large should be considered by the regulators. Whether it's you guys should stop overbuilding each other and share, whether it's you know, why don't you merge? You know, why are you like two cats over a clothesline kicking each other's guts out? You know,
Right.
why don't you figure this out?
Well, you've
This is
considered-
wasteful capital spending. The trucking companies aren't required to build their own roads, okay? The airlines aren't required to build their own airports. Why is it that communications companies can't sit, even with regulators in the room, and work out ways to be more efficient?
Of course, that is a hope that Malone has, as we've described so many of the competitive pressures that the broadband providers face, whether it be overbuilders in terms of fiber, whether it be fixed wireless in the form of offerings from T-Mobile, Verizon, and the like, and whether it be from the sky and Starlink in terms of its broadband, certainly capabilities for rural areas. I did move on, of course, in a long-ranging conversation. By the way, CNBC Pro has it all. Talked to Malone, about his long career and the regrets and perhaps those opportunities that were missed. Take a listen.
Well, there are opportunities that went by you that you didn't go after, right? Which I have to say, I have had so many opportunities that I've missed that I really almost have to apologize to my shareholders for being, for missed these things. Like we could have taken over Amazon in 2001 with their convertible debt. We had the cash. Their stock was, their converts were selling at like 14 cents on the dollar.
I remember it.
I mean, and Jeff was, on his
He was
back.
scrambling for money. Yeah.
So there were many. Netflix. We could have gone aggressive on Netflix. I bought some personally, but I couldn't get DirecTV to go aggressive.
Talked about
So
that.
a whole series of these, that were
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
wonderful
Right.
opportunities. AOL, buying AOL from Paul Allen early for nothing. But in terms of things I actually did that I regret, I think the AT&T deal, I have to really apologize to my employees for that one, because for the shareholders it was a home run. You get a 40% premium into a liquid stock.
Right.
Boom. If you were stuck,
You hung on, of course.
yeah, I hung on. I hung on really to protect the liberty side of it. But for my employees, they then went to work for a company that really didn't know what it was doing. And it was very disruptive for them. And they saw their stock, which was the principal asset they had in their stock plan, go from like $88 down to 14 or something. So they got creamed. So did I, but I had diversification, they didn't. So
Yeah.
so I felt bad about that. No, I think, look, Ted Williams batted 400 his best year, 40%. That's pretty damn good. I'm just grateful for all the people who've helped me, all the opportunities I've had. On average, it's worked out.
It has. Well,
You know, I chased the first girl I really fell in love with. Yeah, she's stuck with me for 67 years.
Talked about
It
Leslie
don't get
many
better than
times.
that, Dave.
No, it doesn't. That's probably the best decision you can make, right? I'm curious, from your business career again, best period, when you think about something and, you know, it's a period that was the most, I don't know.
The 80s, when we were essentially a monopoly. It was like, you know, the movie, The King of the World, you know, the bond trader, when things are really going well. You know, there's that sense that you can do no wrong. And the roll-up of the early cable industry and being able to cut all these deals, you know, an average deal every 2 weeks, merger deal, acquisition deal, financing deal, the banks throwing money at you, Mike Milken, you know, working in your behalf. That was pretty heady stuff, right, for a young guy. And I thought that was probably the most interesting.
The 80s. And finally, we also discussed, of course, the future for Malone. You know, he's takes issue with the word
I thought this was Leon
retired.
Cooperman. IBM. They had a quantum news today. But damn, we just hit that new high and then chilled out. Very slow. I think everybody's... You didn't get your melt up. You didn't get your meltdown. I mean, it's still early. Bonds are taking a stick. MasterCard crypto credential to include self-custody wallets. And then Morgan Stanley no longer expects a Fed rate cut in December. All the premiums are getting... I mean, they're holding up because of the gap, but they're all very disappointing. Out of the monies did not work. I mean, they did for a little bit, but you had to be near the money. I think Walmart was the best play off the morning. I mean, one of the Nvidias is still up from the morning too, but you got to be near the money, dude. It's kind of shit. But I do think after this week we'll get a little bit more, but it's still a long day. A good day at that, baby. So let's see. I don't know, man. A lot of people, like, I mean, you tell me. How many of you were mad that Nvidia didn't do bad? Because, dude, I'm telling you, I feel like so many people were disappointed in Nvidia. They were like, no, it's not bad. It's terrible. It doesn't matter.
It's bad. I know it's bad. Warren Buffett letter.
What, Michael? So, yeah, it was, I feel like there was a lot of disappointment in it not being disappointing. And, yeah, Nvidia did price in a decent amount. MSTR, are we doing this shit again? You guys realize Bitcoin sold off another 2? And now I guess gold is coming back down. They watched those premiums as well. All right, well, I'm not worried about this stick in the market. It started with these bonds, but yeah, dude, you're doing it again, low key. Yeah, because Bitcoin was up 2 in the morning. That's what I thought the market would look like. I thought it would look like this, either straight up or straight down. But Bitcoin gapped up 2 and then just sold it off. We'll see. Watch if staples start going up. Well, even after the report, a lot of people were just kind of picking it apart and kind of not really vibing with it being up. And then everybody who already owns it was like, ha ha ha. Yeah. Well, people were surprised because the question is, does it keep doing good? That's why them beating and raising was actually very good. Like, it's not. I think it was a very good report. I mean, it's not too often like a company just keeps growing like that. But now, I feel like we're getting back to that stage of like, you remember in 2023 when everyone's like, it's fake. It's like people are doing that again. But this time it's been like several years, and now there's more. The only sketchy part I do think is the circular revenue. That's the part that is not really exciting. But everything else, like assuming it isn't, oh my bad, assuming it's not complete fraud, I mean, I would assume this is a very good one. The whole circularity thing, I agree, that's the weird part. But if that's not like, if that does come to fruition, or even a portion of it though, and you don't watch anybody get clapped per se, I mean, that's still it's doing it phenomenal. I mean, they weren't making that much money. You guys, back in the day, like Nvidia has gone from like what, 4 billion to 111 billion in terms of like net income or something like that. It's actually ridiculous. Like, remember when we first saw 20 billion, 40 billion, it just keeps going. But then it makes sense. I mean, you are building out a lot of this stuff. I was just talking to you guys about some of the chips. Like, that's why I say, even like, dude, buying how many did the Saudis buy? Like 1,000 GB 300s is insane. And like, that stuff's not there. And even then, like, our shit is gonna get outdated. But the shit that you have now, like a Blackwell, it's gonna work for several years. Even if it does get outdated, you could always repurpose it. But then I think, again, the real thing that will change things is when you could get a crazy level of output without that much electricity. That's where it starts to really switch gears. But even then, it's like, because that's what I want to do. I want to take every old graphics card. I want to get the Blackwell, but I'm gonna start taking all the old ones and repurposing them too, because you can. It's not going to be as efficient, but it will still work. So I don't know. I think people are building out at a very, very big rate right now, and it is either a bubble, or this is the beginning of like a very big industry. You're building out industry at a level that some of us haven't witnessed since the day we were alive. At least I know, for me it is. I've never seen them build out infrastructure like this ever. The last thing was the internet, and even then, internet and fiber was nothing like this. It was nothing like this. Cloud was a lot of money to build. I remember cloud becoming big and the beginning of that, and we made a lot of money on that. But cloud was nothing like this too. This is phenomenal. I do think, though, the electricity demand, I don't think it's going to be that high in the long run. And I think they are building it out, but ideally, if whoever could make a chip that's there without using that much electricity, I think it's going to be very good. That is the crazy part. So if you guys saw Google, Gemini 3 is like very powerful, and Gemini is great. But yeah, they literally they did not train Gemini on a Nvidia chip. So that right there is kind of one step in that direction. That's kind of crazy to say. Think about it. One of the best models right now, for now, it was not trained on Nvidia. It didn't use a Nvidia chip. It used a Google chip, which is kind of nuts to think about. Oh yeah, no, I haven't used Gemini yet, but I've seen some comparisons, and I was pretty impressed. Because Gemini used to be kind of dumb. The first rollout of Gemini was a little stupid. It wasn't that good. But then I haven't used it yet. I'm gonna start playing with it, but because that's why it's definitely piqued my interest. Because like it's not like it's gonna give you practical shit. Rather, like, pretty much I saw a couple of these comparisons where like ChatGPT will like route you to like, ChatGPT has to do compliance now, ever since people were like, yo man, your AI is killing people and it's telling them to do really dumb shit. They had to start like clamping down on it. But now like Gemini will like, it'll give you good info on borderline things that weren't like, it'll push the envelope a little bit. So, and it does it in a very good manner, at least from what I've seen. I haven't used it yet though. So yeah, that's kind of the nutty part about it. All right, SPY's coming down again. I mean, you've done this twice already. You hit a new high on that one, and then you're coming down. Bonds tweaked out. The only bad part is Bitcoin. Let's see the equal weight, but Nasdaq's still at 2. Yeah, equal weight. They're all moving in tandem now. So watch which one breaks first, if they break. And then some value names that were lagging are coming up. Like I'd watch PG, and then any XLV name if they could go up, because they've been kind of dragging. But I think some of it's both rotating out of the rotation, and then also just next week, and I think they're gonna work some premium here. Power won't be an issue. Looking at portable containerized nuclear reactors. I'm pretty sure that was in the 100. Ask Ali. But I'm more talking like, if you could just make a power efficient chip that could handle high load without like using a bunch of electricity, I mean, it doesn't matter. You could essentially survive off of what you have now, or just a fraction of the development that we're getting. Alrighty, this one's a little bigger than the first one, and now this time, remember here, equal weight rotated a little bit. Here, they're all coming down. But it's not as bad in terms of some of the names that are holding. Let's see, where's Nvidia? Nvidia and Google are going to be your leaders here. Yeah, Nvidia's hitting a low, but Google's not. GLD break even. I want to see those premiums. I sold them. I covered it, but let's see. Was that a good decision or a bad decision? Nope, same price. Push it to the long term. Yeah. Tiny grad, they're making AI training 10 times faster. Well, the beauty is just like, that's why open source is good. That's why like OpenAI's whack, because like people have already built stuff, and if you can utilize what they've already trained and kind of build off of it, then you'll save a lot of power. But the downside is that you're gonna go off of whatever they trained it with. So that's what I don't like, because a lot of these have like, a lot of them are very biased. There is good ones that are unbiased, but yeah, I don't even want to tell you, bro. I found out terrible tin though, and I heard this yesterday and I fucking gasped, because I said, oh my gosh, this is god awful. Everything's on QN. Well, because it's cheap. I think 80% of startups are using some form of BABA. I read that stat though. I don't know if that's legit, but like I'm saying, if you're really into developing something and you want to, it's just money. It's just cost. So it's like, it's actually kind of crazy that it's a fraction of the price. But then even without QN or even without a DeepSeek, it's like, as long as somebody trains something prior and it's available, you don't have to start from scratch. You have to find the video. This guy talks about it, and he was like, you think Logan Paul doing makeup videos is funny? And then he said something. I don't want to say it. But yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I never really thought about that. Have you seen that video? All right, man, you're going lower here. You had a little bit of a bounce at the same level, but this time it's going lower. Bonds are going up. If remember though, this is still like, look at the pre-market. So this you've actually been trading here for a couple extra hour, if you think about it. And then watch, if it gives up, you might go back here to this level. Remember, Thursdays are usually the worst day of the week. This year, I think 60% of Thursdays have been red. Push it to the long term. Okay, yeah, the Nvidia plays from morning went down. Those are dead now. They're not dead, but it kind of reminds me of the Netflix on Monday. All right, bigger candle there as you break the low. Bonds are rocketing now, but I don't know if this is Besant or if this is panic. Like I'm saying, the only negative I see right now, because again, you still are up 2%. Imagine that. Or 1.8 now. But Bitcoin's about to go red, and so is gold. You'll be on the lookout. I'll tell you when we switch between Fila. I can't say it for everybody. I could say it for you guys. Because then if you guys get me banned, then you just lose all your real-time access. And then it's so much easier with less crowded place. So yeah, I'll put the ball in your court, brother. You're going to have to wait. SDS. There's a couple things. All VIX now. I mean, think about it. You're up 1.8 right now. It just feels this is your first sell-off. But what time is it? So it took an hour and a half. So I was thinking 60 minutes. It hit you at 90 minutes. But remember, this was kind of the idea people had. But then again, it just chopped around a little harder. But then if this doesn't like break down and just bounces, I mean, you're still fucking chopped. Private credit asset valuation, potential vulnerabilities, says Fed Cook. She says she doesn't see private credit posing current threat to financial stability, but says worth keeping a close eye on it. Yeah, you got 30 minutes till Euro close. So like I said, now if you want, now the Nvidia is cheaper. This is going to be your either double dip or you say, fuck no, I don't want it. And then, yeah, but this is, I mean, it's kind of following in timelines. I thought it'd do it in 60 minutes, but 90 minutes, and it's still smaller. I would have thought it would have dumped harder or it would have ripped harder. So I still think today is kind of, it's kind of guarded on both sides. It's not as big. Now LAC and those names. Low ticker's getting a little more active with broader names. And then the bank owned as a high. I don't know, man. Chops, it sucks because they're going to take a couple days or weeks to find out if we're really in Chop City. Even though you're already in it now, but like, you know, good news, good data. We'll see how it leads. But if we hit a new high, you're good. But without it, then yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of it, but you are looking like 2018. That's why you're just going to put it in the rear view and you'll be fine. But otherwise, you keep a twist, you keep a turn, you're going to get a loss, Habibi. You'll lose the direction. If you want puts, I'd get them individual. Like I'm saying, that's kind of been the theme here. Individual stocks, I think, are going to serve you better than the index. Because, yeah, those puts are still down, but they went from, like, on the index, you would have got 30% from the bottom if you shorted it here, or got a put at the top pretty much. But then I think, like, go look. Let me see the Nvidias. Because I looked at a Nvidia put in the morning. Those you would have made 30%, 50% if you're near the money. But that's how much the calls fucking went up, too, if you bottom ticked it. And then bonds too now. The weird part is the inverse. You guys don't see that? You had a knife on the bonds, and then we started going down, and then bonds started inversing perfectly. You haven't really seen that. Yeah, Bitcoin's going. That's why I said I don't like this. Just like yesterday. You guys don't remember? The same exact thing happened. Except yesterday you had way more juice. Today you gapped up and had nothing at the cash open. Yesterday was no gap, all cash open fuel. And then, yeah, it was around this time, I would argue. Yeah, 10:20, 10:30, Bitcoin started fucking doing it. Even gold now, too. I don't even think, I closed the golds, but I don't even think they're going to go. Because they're at the same price, and I closed out into the green. I wouldn't say we're back to liquidity fears just yet. Again, I think Thursday, a lot of the news was good, but it's still going to be bumpy. That's the first thing I said off the morning here. I would expect the bumpiness. So, but again, unless Bitcoin want to fucking really knife and then take gold with it, then we could talk about liquidity. But for now, this should have eased it up a little bit. It's been 6 years since I've spoken in the chat. If you remember about joining the military, I don't recall, brother. No. Do you have any other identifying factors? But no, I don't. Your message cut off too, but I don't really recall. The VA was in college. Oh, you did it and you got a VA loan? Well, that's good, man. And thank you for serving our country. That's crazy you just said that, though. I had a talk yesterday with somebody about that. It was kind of sad. I guess I'll tell you guys. I didn't plan on telling you. But I got stuck in traffic yesterday. And then I stopped to go get food. And then homeboy was like sitting outside. And I was like, you want food? And then he was down and he's like, can we get pizza? I said, yeah, we could get pizza. There was pizza. I wasn't getting pizza, but it was next door. And I was talking to this guy, bro. He was homeless, but he wasn't homeless. He was saying how he came he was like 60 miles from his house, literally like renting a room. And then he said he ran out of money and all these other things. But like, I could tell he was kind of drugged out. And I think that's what it was. But I was like, bro, you have he was there. I don't know how to describe it. He was like, he had a good conversation. He was very nice, respectful. Procter Gamble, now they're rotating back to staples here for a second. Remember, most of the staples are already up. And then keep an eye on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 3% top to bottom. But yeah, long story short, though, I was telling the guy, he was more stable than he thought. I think he just had a little lapse with drugs, and then he lost his job. But I was telling him, I was like, bro, he was like, one of my friends told me to go to join the military. I said, yeah, why don't you? I said, bro, you either should go get a job right now and go, because he was telling me how he worked at Amazon and did all. I think he just started doing drugs, and then, a couple bad decisions, it really sent him in a spiral. But I was telling him, I was like, bro, go to the recruitment office. I said, there's one like 10 miles from here, 5 miles from here or something like that. But yeah, man, it's not necessarily I don't think that should be everybody's first choice unless you're called to it. But yeah, it really, I don't know, man. I think some people don't really recognize it could get you a certain amount of stability and you get to serve your country. Like I said, if you have certain other opportunities and you have other things going, I would pursue those. But if push came to shove, I was just telling this to some guy yesterday, man. So I don't know. I'm glad you did it. And I'm glad you actually used it to get a home and all that. And I hope it did propel you, and I hope it leads you to more opportunities. And yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Yeah, literally, you could use it to straighten out and buy some time. That's exactly it. You had 25 bucks in your pocket when you joined the military, ended up doing almost 10. Best thing to happen to me. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's a real option for a lot of people, and I don't know why some people don't think about it, or I don't know why they don't like it. It's hard. It's not going to be easy, but it's like I was saying, it could definitely straighten you out and get you X amount of time, and you might end up just liking it and staying, and then, you know, you'll get real stability. I'm a big fan of stability. All right, bro, it's flushing. It sucks because you're getting the baby rotations that were red in the morning, but now this is tech. Look, equal weight. You took an extra, 20 points off the SPY by the time equal weight barely broke the low. So yeah, you got energy holding, you got staples going up right now. So you're just rotating back and fucking forth on this week. And remember, the money comes in next week. But yeah, XLP is just going to the high. Walmart's still up. And then now energy, all these energy stocks, and then Verizon, AT&T. Meanwhile, Nvidia's flushing, Oracle, even Broadcom. Broadcom's doing very good, though. And then Google's not as bad, but Google just gave up 1%. So that's adding stats. See, XBI even went down, but that is too much room. That one doesn't even matter. And then Bond's still straight up. It was all right when fucking JD Vance was like, they're going crazy. Shut up, JD. JD, they don't like you, JD. They're gonna go and Zelensky expects to discuss with Trump diplomatic opportunities. All right, man, just take notes. It's a small amount. Well, I mean, some of you are saying it'd be crazy if it went red, but like, remember what we were talking in the morning? Here, let me give you these numbers again. So now Dow has 5 in the red. So staples are going up. This isn't really affecting the Dow. If anything, the Dow's catching up on this move. You guys see that? So now you went from 2, 2.5, 2, 2.2, and now they're all the indexes are way tighter now. So Dow's not really moving on this. NASDAQ now has 27 in the red. So we had like 10 names go red here that were green. But you still have 70. You have 75 names that could go red, essentially. And then SPY now 94 in the red, 407 in the green. Fruit of the Loom has been a victim of ransomware. They say, release the cornucopia or we delete all your files. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it. I'm sorry. There's a calling. Bro, there is. I mean, I think a lot of people just view the military. They don't even see it as an option, or they think they're too far gone. But yeah, I don't know who needs. Again, I had a Chad do it because he wanted to the other day. Was it Roman? And I think or Eric Roman. And yeah, I think it's a cool option. Even then, some of y'all are like, I want to travel the world. I want to see the world. Bitch, do it through the military. You understand? You can go see the world. So yeah, there's so many things, but to each his own. And I like the benefits that it gives. And that being said too, all of you that are like a part of this or part of the military, I hope you use your benefits and use it wisely, okay? Because you can do stuff and you should get those benefits if anything. ACN acquires Ranger to further expand Palantir talent and capabilities. Okay, even Apple's giving it up. All your little pad in the stats, Google, Apple, and Nvidia. Let's see. CoreWeave still up. Oracle went red. And then Broadcom's the last one. I think Intel went red too. No, Intel's still up. Whoop, 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 whoop. Alrighty. So then think about tomorrow. That's 70 points for tomorrow. That's 60 points straight down. And then you still have, bro, you still have another 100 points almost to fill the gap. That's the crazy part. 80? Have I been hiking before? I mean, yeah, man. I went on a hike in my life. Have you? All right, you're flushing. Flusher, Rooney, Staples holding up. TL, this is the weird part. Because y'all realize this is volatile for the bonds. That's the part I don't like in all of this. Not to mention the Bitcoin. Because that correlated with the Bitcoin shit. Damn, Bitcoin's at 88,000 on the futures? Hot dog. I don't know. You might fill the gap. But then you have a high gap to fill on the upside as well, too. I think this is juicing us for next week, although tomorrow will provide an opportunity. Because, again, everything's just been doing it the next day. So if you think it's going to rip today, it'll rip tomorrow. And then vice versa. That's how even a lot of the news has played out. I think Walmart's the only one that fucking actually went. So, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I would just keep in mind tomorrow. But then really next week, you'll get the money. And then now you have 100 to the down, 100 to the upside potential. And then, yeah, it'll align. I wouldn't say it's not ugly. It's bad, but like it's all emotions. I wouldn't freak out, you guys. I'd make your decision. I would choose your frustration. We talked about this. We were talking about this all morning. It just happened 30 minutes later. That's it. I think I said 90 minutes, but I was really focusing around 60 minutes. Even my tweet yesterday, I thought we said 30 minutes and the video will give it up. So yeah, I wouldn't stress too hard. I'd think about tomorrow as well as next week, but it's definitely, this is typical of a Thursday, but like you're still up a lot. But now you just gave up 1% in 30. This is like, remember what happened yesterday? Holy shit. I think we're having the same reaction as yesterday. You guys remember yesterday we were like, holy shit, it's going on. You just did that to the downside because I can't deny that's fast and that's big. It's not the worst thing, and it's not like it doesn't change the narrative, but it's like, holy fuck. It's just, that was exactly the feeling of yesterday morning at the cash open. But then today you did it with a big move. So now you're below. Yeah, you already, be careful though. This might be a checkpoint because you already flushed the CPI zone or the non-farms. So this 67.40-ish on the SPY, that'll be like a checkpoint. What is this? Furniture industry gets boom from high-income consumers. High-income consumers are replacing pandemic-era furniture. Analysts say. Thank you for that, Wall Street Journal. Is that Wall Street Journal? I think it is. Or analyst. I just don't like the bond volatility. You guys got to realize it keeps going down and up at large. Remember I was telling you yesterday, go straight down, go straight up, go straight down. This is volatile. It's small. It's not saying anything about yields and shit, but it's volatile. It's baby volatility. You've definitely seen worse. Microsoft went red. Yeah, Oracle went red. And then I'd be careful if Google gets, Google already just sold too. If Google and Broadcom go red, then it gets a lot uglier. Apple might go red, but Apple's kind of just still moving gently. That shitty pandemic table gotta go. Oh, man. Zelensky says he expects to talk to Trump in coming days. Yeah, they said they received draft of peace plan. Tell me why. I never wanna hear you say I saw my life today. I hate furniture too. It's terrible. Because it's cheap and then people buy expensive. But nice furniture is nice. I don't know how to describe it. I don't like buying it, but like if you get it secondhand, but then no one likes secondhand furniture. It's a weird industry, dog. But yeah, like I like design. Maybe that's the better way. Good design, good aesthetic is fucking amazing if you know how to, and you could do it cost effective, but yeah, it's furniture is odd. That's why I never put furniture on credit, okay? I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're going to get one of those credit lines at the furniture store, it's really bad for your credit. Oh, here, U.S. employment situation for November to be released on December. They're putting that out again. That's coming from the BLS. But yeah, it's very low quality credit, and then like you buy it, and then it's gonna depreciate, and nobody buys second. That's what I'm saying. It's weird because nobody wants secondhand furniture, and then after a couple of years, you'll even if they say no interest, doesn't matter. It's poor credit. You don't want to splurge on that. I don't think we might. That Bitcoin moves terrible, guys. That's 4%. All right, China's now. All right, I think people are panicking. We check if gold, though. We're going to go back to gold Bitcoin charts. Yeah, gold's selling, but like I'm saying, the premiums that I took the loss on, now they're coming up. So yeah. The spreads are still wide, but now they're a little higher than when I sold. I sold into the green, though. That's why I thought it wasn't going to come back there. And now PG, those are wake. It's still, you got a couple signs of rotation. Don't forget, all of the damn Dow is up. And now you're now 0.9. So you've sold off 1.5, a little bit more from the top there on the Nazi. This is not news. I think this is Thursday. And just the general idea, they just pump faked it by going so slow. I thought, so take off, look from here. I thought this was how the market was going to look today. Either this to the upside or downside. I didn't ignore all this, but I thought it was going to, make the move and then quickly do it. But it just did it in 90 minutes instead of in 30 or 60. So, but then Thursdays are usually bad. And then like we're talking about, there's more for next week. But this is very typical. Again, I mean, let me ask you guys this. How many times has Nvidia reported done good and then sold off on the earnings day and then did whatever the next couple weeks? You've seen this before. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is like that crazy, but that right there, this little extra part, this is where it's getting a little aggressive. Like I'm saying, okay, maybe it's getting a little panicky here. All of this, I'm not really tripping on it. Here's around, this is the non-farm zone from the data, but like a little bit here without any relief, or if we watch anything, again, gold, dollar, Bitcoin, bonds, that's where it gets a little odd. But yeah, the dollar's fucking down today. Repurposing secondhand furniture. I feel you. That is dope. It's fun if you know how to do it. My favorite is I like the people who make they use like gears in like industrial shit to make furniture. I know a guy who makes these like tables made out of like gears and flywheels, and he sells them for like $20K. They're insane. my average on Bitcoin, it's extremely low. Like, it's disgustingly low. If I didn't have videos on YouTube, you guys probably wouldn't have believed me. But yeah, but I haven't bought in any in a long time. I've been more of a seller than a buyer. And then we sold out at like 47 or 50-ish during 2022 or whatever, and then turned that to the house. But yeah, I do love Bitcoin. I really, really do, man. But I do think a lot of people have been deceived on it, and the way it's changed. You're at the monetization stage. I don't know who needs to hear this again, but that's why I would focus on some of this industrial build out that's happening, and I think some of you can really make some life-changing money and solidify good things, and it's not going to be in buying a highly inflated asset and then hoping that it 10x's. The real money is going to be in the 30,000 to 50,000% opportunities, and it's kind of odd to even tell you to go after that, but I do think that you have those opportunities now, and it's not in crypto. If crypto didn't get so scammy, you would have had other coins and projects, but that they've drained it out. There's no trust in the ecosystem, and it's just everything is turned into an extraction rather than building. It was kind of always like that, but I would have argued, like, even 2018, 2020, man, people were first discovering rug pulls and ICOs and all of that, but yeah, it's just different. So I don't know. There's a reason why I love Bitcoin, but I don't think it's the same opportunity for all of you. Now, the last time I said there was opportunity in Bitcoin was 2020. I missed out on the 2022 with because FTX did freak me out, and that could have been a good buy at 16. I could acknowledge that, but I still think it's not what people think it is. They're using it to kind of, that's why I'm saying it's very deceptive in the sense that, because it's a good asset. I love it. I think it's great. I mean, it changed the world, and it's awesome. Crypto, and it's a beautiful thing, but it's just like I'm saying, I was buying that shit in $300. Our last purchase was like $10,000, and I thought that was a lot at the time, but then they just changed the whole entire monetary system. All right, I would wait. This will either be a plant or it's gonna come down a little and then it'll stabilize, and then that'll be it. But you're getting green candles now. Watch the bonds come down. Again, Bitcoin's the only thing that really looks ugly today. Well, yeah, I learned a lot I've always known about crypto, but ever since I learned even a lot about the market once I started seeing the little scam coins, even like the liquidity pools and how they operate. It was very eye-opening. It's hard, I'm telling you guys, it's just not in your favor. And then I wish everybody wasn't such a degenerate and scammy, because that would have given more life to like altcoins and some of these other projects to really blossom. But unfortunately, like, you just can't trust anybody. I mean, I don't know. Think about it. Cryptocurrency, it's all digital trust, right? Trust has been eroded in many ways, even on the institutional level. That's why it's like, yeah, do I think it's a store of value? Not really. I mean, I'm starting to even gold isn't becoming a store of value. I think real estate is a store of value because you could live in it and use it. But stores of value shouldn't be volatile. That's the problem. Because then what do you mean storing value if you don't know what it's going to be at when you need it? All right, yeah, so you're coming down. Now wait till a stabilization, and then if you think it's going to have a bounce, you plant. But then also it's euro close right here on the dot. Damn, they got Broadcom? Broadcom claimed as a victim of the ransomware. A lot of things are dropping now. This is broadening out the drop. So now more of the staples even. XLP's up, but I think XLP might even start giving up. is holding, staking Ethereum. You don't want to have this conversation, but you should know where I stand. I've said staking is the dumbest shit ever. I've said that from the beginning. And I know as the tides turn, you know, people like to go back and forth, but you know, I mean, why would you give any? Don't give anybody shit, dude. Like, I think you guys should be more selfish, and I wouldn't, especially as people have eroded trust, I would stop trusting certain things in that sense. But you know, I wouldn't give you my crypto and let you give up my rights to it for X amount of percent. It just doesn't really vibe. Like, okay, you guys want to have the talk right now? Because I couldn't give you, like, can we address a elephant in the room? Because this relates to another topic I've said several times. Cardinal Health, they're running. Yeah, VIX, they did split the VIX and the Qs. But it's actually, VIX is still down. That's what I'm saying. This is, by many metrics, this is a solid day. So watch Google. Like I'm telling you, Google and Nvidia, bro, they got a lot of like lift into the market. So now Nvidia is about to go red, only 1%, but then Google. So that, now you get rid of those, now you're gonna really just, it's all about the pressure of everything else. Because that was padding the stats heavy. Oil drop CF. Oh, where's China? Well, this is what we'll talk about. You guys don't remember, because this is what happened with staking. Because the problem is that there's like, and again, I'm not trying to talk shit, dude. And like, young guys, bro, if you think I'm trying to patronize you, I'm not. I'm trying to actually encourage you for like longevity and wisdom, especially if you want to do this for a long time. And you know, there's great opportunity. I love the markets, but the problem that we are in this fucking postmodern, perpetual present, you know, people aren't looking at past, they aren't looking ahead to the future in a way. People just keep getting exposed to stuff and they're too quick to adopt it. Does that make sense? Literally, you're getting tossed and turned on every wind. That's what happened with staking. That's why in the beginning, everyone's like, yeah, you could do it. I'll put in this much and I'll make 10x. I'll get the dividend. It's not a dividend. It's just, you know, and like, that's where like a lot of these big money people who are making a lot of money on this stuff, they're using misnomers. You think they're using a dividend and you're taking the logic of like a stable dividend and then applying it to something that just was invented. You know, that's just not the same. That's not what just because they pay out doesn't mean you get the same safety as like something that is held for a while. But long story short, as we know, when it's good, everybody loves it. And then when it fucking backfires, people either realize it too late or, you know, no, you don't hear it as much, right? So let me ask you guys, why hasn't anybody talked about yield max stocks lately? Have you wondered that? Y'all used to ask me every week when it's going up. I haven't heard anybody bring it up. You know why? Because it's fucking robbery. That's what I'm saying, and I don't want you guys to lose. I think it's just sad that it really harms society, because these guys just pocket the money, and then they, you know, people who had large amounts of money and young guys or even middle age, and then they tie their money and they're like, oh, I'm gonna make, you know, $50,000 a year. I'll live off of this, and then everyone's like, oh, what's this BEA to delay third quarter GDP? BA to delay October personal income and outlays. What's BEA? Is that a typo? Third quarter October spending data to be delayed, and personal income and spending. So watch out. Last time we had that, everybody tripped out. I tried to, you guys don't, that's what I was saying, man. We needed a lot of good change, and that's why I've been trying to be as direct as possible some of you thought I'm trying to just be mean. You think I'm going through this. It's like, no, bro, I'm really trying. We helped a lot of people, and we have this year, but you know how many people would argue? Bureau of Economic Analysis? Yeah. Oh, yeah, shit. I don't have the wire up again. My bad. Yeah, that just flashed on the wire. I just keep forgetting to put it up. But yeah, you don't remember people would argue with me. Like when I'd say I wouldn't put your money there, they took it as like an offense. They took it offensively. As if I'm like, dude, if you haven't seen this shit, bro, and understand these systems, like, nah, it's these guys. Believe me, man, it's your money. It's your future. But that's what I'm saying. You guys don't. Everybody was all about the yield maxes. So it was one thing if you bought like MSTR, but like, dude, some of these got clobbered. And you had people buying these with the intention of like holding for a really long time. There's all of these. How many? I could go find every yield max and you'll see that they did worse than the market. And then I don't know how the dividends adjust with it, but it's just like, yeah, they're paying you. Anybody paying you 10%. What have I always told you? If you get high yield, you're going to give up your equity. That's the rule. Anything that offers high yield, there's a higher risk of losing your equity. That's why 3 to 7%. Anything above 7 usually screams red flags. Is there one yield max that's up? I don't even know if the Nvidia yield max is up. So MSTY is clobbered. Yeah, so here, take a look too. Even Nvidia, your yield max on that is clapped. Even if Nvidia, like again, even when Nvidia at 200, you're at 17. And the SPY's still dropping now. You're getting more value stocks running, but this is unwinding everything from the morning. You've dropped about 2% on the NASDAQ. You're still green, but yeah, it's not, I don't know. And a lot of people keep getting hit by a cyber attack. I don't know if that's really hitting it. But yeah, now SPY, I don't know which one's doing worse. They look matched up almost perfectly. Let's get another checkup and see how deep this is. Yeah, NASDAQ has 40 names in the red now. At one point, it was like 20. So yeah, you're slowly slipping on there. Dow has 8 now red. That one's not as bad. And then SPY, 150 in the red. That's double. You've doubled the... You've had 80 red to greens, or green to reds this morning. And then again, that bureau, the GDP delay. Last time you had the shit yesterday, everybody freaked out. But like I was telling you guys earlier, it's kind of a game of chicken between the Fed and Trump. You know, and saying they can't react with data or not. All right, let's go to gold and Bitcoin. No, I think it's Thursday, and then the good news did flip bad. That's what it seems like. Okay, now the Qs are on the high. I just think we're bumpy. But yeah, now this is getting bad. I want to say it's Bitcoin, dude. Because yeah, something that cracked. That shouldn't have happened. That's now a little bit. You moved 2% intraday. Again, we were expecting this. I'm just saying this little segment here is a little unusual. And then again, Bitcoin has moved about 3 or 4% up to down. That's just not a good sign for liquidity. And that's what I'm saying. Some of the credit stuff didn't really ease up off of Nvidia. It did for a little bit. But yeah, and then now once you give up the big 7 too, that's just not, then the cracks really show. But like we're saying though, I do think about tomorrow. You still have hundreds of points, both less to the downside now because you just did it. So what? You're 30 points away from filling that gap already? That'll be a 130 point move if you fill the gap on the SPX. That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's why we've done very well. Pizza. Drop in because like I've given you guys some solid dividends that were yielding high, but now they've done really well. And then there's some like MPW that didn't do well yet. But like MO, IRM, Abivi, when we bought them, they were kind of high yields. But that was about looking at the company and the 10-year dynamic. Like even MO, I don't know if you guys recall the years ago, no matter what, even when the yield was at, we bought it last purchase, it was a 10% yield. But I was telling you that it'll be good because they're assets. I knew, most people knew they had money to cover it. They had really good assets that, worst came to worst, I mean, it wasn't like they were going to run out of money and people were going to stop smoking cigarettes. So, and then even Abivi was a risk. They just, remember, Humera, and people were worried about the patent, and that's why you were able to get it. They made good acquisitions, and they were able to still perform without even with the lapse of the patent. And then IRM, literally, if you think about it, we were investing in data centers in 2020. So it's like that was yielding 12 when we bought it. But you have to acknowledge it, though. Any of those plays, I never came into them telling you, oh no, it's solid. Park all your money here. It's gonna be great. Oh, look at, you'll make all your money back, and that's it. And then because that's how they market those other ones. But it was about looking at the companies and like really what they were offering and that 10-year dynamic. I know when they realize, I think some people are picking up on it. I mean, at this rate, I've been telling y'all stuff and you'll hear about it, even quicker than I would imagine. Because now Bitcoin's already, some of it could be that. ABVX and AZN takeover note, Betaville. Well, that one's already up. Your big bro, Misal, got you the long term. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday. Happy spy dump day. Now you're only at a quarter, bro. You got washed. This was a little bit bigger. Right? This is the ugly part. That's a whole day right there. That's 50 points. So, yeah, I think you are going to fill the gap at this point. Now, Equal Weight is getting back to break even. So, SPY's up a little bit. Dow is also slowly coming down. You have signs of rotation. You just lost all of the hype on all of the tech. That's pretty much what just went down right now. No, nothing caused it. I mean, here was data. I mean, Vance made a comment, but the only other cause I think is the hacks, but I don't know. Or Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin, this just started all of it. So Bitcoin was already down, going red from green, even out like 30 minutes before, and that's what we saw on one of those other days. I don't think it's gonna get killed though. They already got killed. I'm saying, like, think about tomorrow. Think about next week. That's the irony. Whatever LUT is, unhalted. I know, it just moved a lot to go nowhere. That's it. And again, Thursdays are really bad. 60% of Thursdays this year have been red. That's a crazy stat. I mean, Fed Lisa Cook, she said credit's not a problem, and then she mentioned the market, but I don't think Fed Lisa Cook does not have credibility. I don't view her as the driver of markets. I mean, if she can't figure out her mortgage, I don't think she's going to figure out private credit. At a different time in my life, I used to think these Fed guys were of the highest level, but as of late, I mean, I'm very doubtful. So I don't think that's it. I think it's other I'd say, again, Bitcoin, maybe somebody blew up. Let me see. Lending rates. No, the rates went down. You're not really even getting like bond pressure. I think it's just, again, Google, like Nvidia is still green, but that's a 5% move now. Same thing with Google, but Google's still up almost 2. And then now you started off with the staples not doing as well. So now they're more so catching up. All right, one more. I'd say just look for the gap fill, and then even if it overshoots, just see what happens after that. But yeah, there's a lot of juice. The worst case scenario, you get trapped in any of this. Like, it just stops moving. But if this bounces back up, or you could get this velocity like this is like yesterday doubled, but to the downside. But if you could get velocity, it's going to be a great day still. But if it just gets pinned, that's where it gets ugly. But then you're going to really have to bet on tomorrow. Or again, next week is where I'm still thinking. Yeah, even because then you didn't get the healthcare bid. They rotated a little bit, but then they rotated back out, then rotated back in, and blah, 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 blah. And then again, MSTR is getting washed. So this is now well below NAV. 2 days ago, it was below the NAV, and now Bitcoin's going lower, and then they're still getting clobbered. Well, where's gold? Because gold slowly did it. Let me see those premiums. I still think we would have lost. Yeah, you still would have been down. It was better than where I sold it, but it's not anything that I'm kicking the table over. It's literally, so like even on this yesterday. So that, you get this to die, then we could talk somebody blew up. But Bitcoin is already doing. Bitcoin's the first sign. And well, even then, bond volatility kind of chilled out right here. That's what I'm saying. This second half was just odd. This part is where it got really ugly. Why do we get money next week? The pros are off. Because that's just the seasonality. Corporate buybacks, end of the November, any rebalancing. So even if they're off, I mean, they could, the computer could still do it. Second fire at aluminum supplier Novelis threatens production. All right. So where was it? I want to see all those yield maxes. Because again, everyone got hella quiet about those. But they were fucking banging the table. Ultra option income strategy. Covered calls, dead. Tesla, dead. Coin, dead. All of them. These are all hitting major lows with most of these stocks still up. You get what I'm saying? Like even Palantir didn't do as bad. Honestly, if you really think about it, that one could have been worse. The Mag 7, this is the Mag 7 yield max. So that doesn't even make sense. Why the fuck would that even be? That's actually crazy. Yeah, the Amazon one, they had a good quarter. AMD, that one's doing a little bit better. Google, this one better be up. This one's kind of up. So yeah, I don't know. But you're still like break even on the year, but then you got to collect the yield. That one's probably the best one. Gold miners, you would have, on the best year for gold, you would have got shit. So yeah, how about Hood? Hood made a big move. Hood is just plummeted. Jeez. So yeah, I guess I don't think I need to go through the rest of them, do I? I think you guys get the idea. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, so just be careful, you guys, in all these things. And if anybody's trying to sell you on an idea of like, give me your money, give me your asset, we'll hold it and pay you a yield. Especially if you're a young guy, but even if you're older and you need that money, just anybody offering you high yield, it's nice to think about, you know, and you're like, yeah, 5 years, it'll make this, 10 years, but it's like, I mean, shit, you buy them all now, you just 10x their yield or some shit. But then again, one of these days, they might even just disappear. Because this is new. This was all a new trend. And it's just Wall Street monetizing, packaging things up, and trying to monetize it. Okay, little stabilization. You better pray to God this doesn't just stay here. You either want way down or way up still, because now after that type of move, if it just chops, that'll be terrible. Okay, Oracle's getting washed now too. They're already down. I watch Broadcom next. That one's still up though, a good amount. Well, the spreads are still high. That's the problem. So no matter what, like, you'll lose on the bid, but then if you wanted to get into it now, even on the bounce, you're gonna pay a higher amount. So if it doesn't bounce enough on the ask, you'll still be down, unfortunately. But I, again, think tomorrow, think the rest of the week. Choose your frustration. Walmart still, bro. That was the best one. Reminders, the long term is hungry. Slick Charts has a lot on the menu. It's a good menu. It really is. Fed Cook, one major vulnerability is maturity mismatch in hedge funds treasury security trading strategies. There's also a mismatch in your personal trading activities. EU plans service to gauge role that climate change plays in extreme weather. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, well, Bitcoin stopped dumping. Well, yeah, man, they are. Like I said, the problem that I've seen in the last couple years is I've never seen so many people like just so quick to adopt things. And then especially if it like goes against their interest and you try to warn them, they will literally take it offensively. But then again, I mean, hey, the yield max has proven itself. So that's why when you asked me the question on staking, it was the same thing. Staking, though, it did good for a lot longer before you were able to realize what it really was. So if you know your goals, though, you have your intention and align with it, I mean, that's it. But just don't, you got to kind of go through the fire a little bit, because everybody likes the yield and they're like, yeah, I'll hold it for 10 years. Like, you say that, but you're probably not going to, especially if it's not as stable. And then, yeah, like, just again, that your equity is important. IFS, what's this? It's a liquid. It has to go like 9. If it's a liquid and goes like 7, dude, that's kind of what we saw the other day. Those did very well. There's no news at all for this. Arguably Bitcoin dumping, but there's all good news, and it held up there, but you held an hour and a half. I mean, there was a JD Vance comment of him kind of bragging, but that's I don't know. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if it counts. Okay, watch Broadcom. That one's starting to dump, but it's still going, you guys. It's actually full gas. Where are those queues from the other day? The free ones. Well, they just did a reverse split, so they're probably all going to be clapped. Now that I think about it. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, all of them are still a lot. I mean, you gapped up 100 fucking points, 130. Yeah, they're all still dead. All right, now it's getting bigger. Nvidia has gone red. Broadcom is next. That's the Broadcom or Google going red. It gets really ugly. I think somebody blew up, but I need gold to flush. We might want to double dip, but I'm not gonna take it yet. Almost see. They're still down. All right, now they're jacking up the asks, though, on any of the gold downside play. They're like literally almost 100% higher on some of them. Yeah, all you have here is volatility indexes. Everything's going down now. Is it the ransomware, dude? Because that is the other thing, bro. We had like 5 different companies, but like a lot of big ones. So if it's not a blow up, it could be the ransomware. But no, there's no real official news on any of this, you guys. That's just the reality of it. And then we expected a lighter version of this, but like I'm saying, it has just gotten extremely large here now. And it did, just like yesterday to the upside, it has done this extraordinarily fast. Okay, yeah, Broadcom's even about, that's a 5% move on Broadcom. And then Google's about to go 5% down now too. Yeah, Apple I really wasn't caring too much, but that did something similar. So be careful here, though. That was big enough that's bigger than these last 2. So if that's not enough to get you to a bounce, then yeah. Have you filled the gap? Yeah, you have now filled the gap. 140-point gap has been filled. Phenomenal. Dog. Yeah, it's a knife. Those Thursdays, dude. Everything got mollywopped here. This is disgusting. Is this what you wanted, Mike?
Yes, that's exact. I told you.
Okay, I guess. And that sucks with the VIX, man. Because now after that little split, what do you mean VIX 61? VIX just went green. Not too out. That little candle brought the actual VIX up to the green. Again, even equal weight took the knife. So literally all 400. Let's see if this is going to balance out. Dow Jones, 14 green, 16 red now. So even the Dow flip. Now you have more red than green. Now the NASDAQ, 65 green, red, 35 in the green. That's insane. Remember, you had 80 green at one point, 90, I think. And now 250 red on the SPY, 240 green on the SPY. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's either going to be the ransomware shit or somebody's clapped in clapperoonie land. But then, meanwhile, you got a couple of staples are doing good. That's the funny part. Yeah, literally, staples are still up, but now healthcare, and then you have XPI. Oh, yeah, dude, this is terrible. I mean, there's another theory going around. This could be it could be Donald Trump saying the fucking sedition stuff. I don't know. I'm starting to lean I'm either leaning Bitcoin or, what's it called? The ransomware. Yeah, bro, this is a 3% move on the NASDAQ. You were at 2.5 and now you're down 0.5% in an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, that's like, dog, that's insane. That's a 3% move in an hour and a half. I mean, let's see. Yeah, the individual stocks, I mean, you would have made, from the bottom tick, you would have made that 100, and then you took another, you got like 400% on the bottom tick if you took them. But then if you took it late, you made 150%. Let me see the SPY. And then it sucks. You could have done a lot better on any of the shit if they didn't just reverse split it. Yeah, you got 400% on the puts. Oh, shit. That's with time. Interesting. And recession. They did, and then, I don't know, the delay of the GDP. So you guys see it, bro. There's like 5 things that you've thrown at the wall. Everything went down, and you're gonna find out what really stuck in the reason. But for now, it's not. There's a couple, bro. There's sedition. There's the damn GDP. Again, just like yesterday, everybody kind of tweaked out on that, and then just everything post earnings reaction, then Bitcoin, all of it. So watch for the next bounce here. See if it could actually go. But nah, it was chill all the way up to like around here. But then this is where it got, dog, 3% in an hour. Actually, though, 10:47 to 11:50, an hour and 10 minutes, you went 3%. No, not a 3% day. It looks like nothing. So anybody at home who hasn't woken up yet, if they don't look at the chart, this looks like a small ass day. That's what I'm saying. It's not. It's wild it played out like that. But then also too, even think for the just think for the next couple of days here as well too. It's either gonna get a lot better or a lot worse. No, you don't really watch that too often. You just saw 80-90% green day now just shifted to 70% red. So 70% of stocks are in the red now. Hour and a half ago, you had 80% of stocks on the NASDAQ in the green. So yeah, there's just too much there. There's a lot of different things. I don't know what it is. I wish I knew, but I can't give you a real answer. Like I'm saying, I've thrown out all the ideas that all correlate, but you don't see that, bro. Just like yesterday, we knew it was earnings, and you knew that was kind of like the hype into earnings, you know what I'm saying? But nah, this one was hideous. That candle's bigger though on the upside now. What's the volume? What? Dog, you got 60 million in volume in 2.5 hours? Well, yeah, this tell me chops. This is 2018. Blech. Ebonics. Seba will draw what's this? Something on blood sample, Sebia and Ibionics. I mean, the Russell's still green. No? Okay. But yeah, she just came back to yesterday. This is terrible. Because that's all dramatic, but like, I mean, just look. You could put up almost any name and it's just like, yeah, like Broadcom's still higher. Like, dog, Google is where it closed. That's it. You just had a nice gap up this morning that didn't pay out too well. And then now you just gave it all. Just the speed of that is the bad part. Are you guys understanding? Just like how we got here, you're like 3% from the fucking highs and everybody has fear, but you would just have really big speed. But that Bitcoin's the only thing lower. That's what I'm telling you. And even gold a little bit is lower than yesterday, but still in the weekly range. That's it. Bitcoin is the only thing getting clobbered. Like, damn, even Oracle's not even lower. So yeah, I don't know. I still like the whole Bitcoin theory. Cross domestic sedition, AI bubble rotation dump. Right. That's kind of what it is. It was a lot there. A couple of Fed speakers or one. Well, we'll see. In terms of if you could get velocity to the upside, it's just going to be an exciting day. But if it's not, if it just gets stuck, that's where I think it gets disgusting. So it's still a lot of time, but let's see if it's equal and opposite reactions or how long that's going to take. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Cult News on Twitter.
And the total addressable market is substantial as well. So I think you want to pick and choose. Do you want to do it today? I don't like the action at all, but I do think you want to pick and choose some of these companies. Every one of the names you just mentioned, I think are buys here.
Ray, I want to come over to you. We often go to you when we talk about cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, because you've been an IBIT holder. What do you make of the action going on here? And I do want to point out the IBIT, the iShares Bitcoin ETF, is actually trading a bit lower than the coin itself. Your view on cryptocurrency and just holding it right now. I mean, it's so volatile right now. You're seeing these big declines, and it seems to hit an area of resistance right around maybe 92, 93, and it just can't seem to break past that anymore.
Yeah, well, I want to go back to what Joe was saying, which I think is very important about the delevering in the system. So where do a lot of institutions and specifically hedge funds lever up? Well, number one, they access the repo market, which has been very wonky lately, but more important, you know, the yen, long, borrow in yen, go and buy risky assets. I mean, the 10-year JGBs have gone from 1% this year to 175. So on a percentage basis, it's a massive move. And so I think you have this delevering in crypto. I think you have some hedge funds and institutions that are offside in this yen, borrowing yen. And so then you have this liquidity sucking out of the market. And I feel like with Bitcoin, as liquidity comes out, Bitcoin gets hit with the bid, or crypto in general. And so to me, until we get this stabilization in the liquidity, and I think crypto will be the first sign of that, I feel that the market as a whole is saying there's something else happening. Because to Steph's point, I mean, Nvidia's numbers were great. Okay, they were great, period and stop. Why hasn't that been able to carry the market even higher? I do think there's other things at play that we as investors are hard to see, and I think this delevering in the yen and also in still the wonkiness of the reverse repo market is adding to this negative sentiment across the market.
So Joe, I want to come back over to you. Right now, we're looking at Nvidia trading lower, and this is a question I've been asking since about 5 o'clock this morning. After this great report, do you buy more Nvidia here? And now that it's pulled back about 0.5% or 2/3% based on the moves right there, is this a buyable place for Nvidia after that really strong earnings report that showed, at least for the near term, we're not in a bubble? Can you buy here on this very slight dip for Nvidia, or any of these other names on this dip?
As I grow older, I become more and more confident that you have to have a process. And my process is becoming more and more rules-based, because I think market structure dictates that. And I think you need to have discipline in a certain regard. I said to Scott several weeks ago, I would not, if you didn't own Nvidia, I wouldn't be reaching for Nvidia when it was 195-ish. If you were long, I would maintain your position. I would have rather have bought Nvidia on a breakout above that new all-time high, which it did not achieve after reporting earnings last night and subsequent price action this morning. So I think I want to maintain that discipline. To answer your question succinctly, if you don't own Nvidia, no, I don't think I would be buying Nvidia exactly right here. I'd rather see some strength reflected with a breakout above a new all-time high. There's your confirmation, and if you don't own it, I would rather buy it there.
Yeah, by the way, JP Morgan out with a note today saying that retail investors, they bought Nvidia every day this week going into earnings. There's a lot of confidence by the retail investors.
They sold it last night.
Steph, similar question to you. Let's go beyond Nvidia, some of these other second derivative plays. It sounded like you would say you would buy Palantir on this pullback, or a Vertiv or an Eaton on these pullbacks.
Well, Vertiv, Eaton, Quanta Services, GE Vernova, Rockwell Automation, all of them. I own all of them. I like all of them very much. You know, Vertiv was my choice on Worldwide Exchange.
Great show.
Your awesome show. For between now and the end of the year, I still think that Vertiv is going to do well between now and the end of the year. This is an air pocket. This is an air pocket, and they're selling the entire theme at this point in time. But this is where you kind of go in and you look and you buy on the weakness, especially when you have orders and backlog to the degree that you have in all of the names that I just mentioned, 40, 50, 60% in terms of growth in orders. And in backlogs, these numbers I've never seen from an industrial company. But all that being said, the one that I'm buying is not on the industrial list, it's Meta. Because that stock is now down 25% from its highs. And I think we are seeing monetization from their AI spend. I know AI spend is a lot, CapEx is much more than we thought, but they are seeing ad impression growth of 14%. They're seeing pricing up 10%. I said yesterday on the show, video time spent up 30%. That is ROI by definition.
I'm
so
here.
To me, now
it's still going down.
trading at
I'm
18
just chilling.
times forward estimates, growing
I know. Yeah, I mean,
at
hey,
26%,
they're in
which
their
I
own
think
little
is
world too. But
sustainable,
this is just a
and I
weird
think
ass
it's
day.
overdone. So
There's
that's
too
the
many
one I
things.
added to
But
that.
then there's nothing at all.
Brand new when it dipped on its
That's the
quarter,
irony of it
and
all.
I do think
Again,
Amazon
Bitcoin is the
absolutely
only
a buy,
flashing red
because
thing
on
right
the
now
retail
that is,
side,
again,
they
lower
are
on
one
the
of
week.
haves versus the
But then even the
have-nots.
bond
It's
volatility
Walmart,
stopped.
Costco, Amazon.
That's the
and
funny
I don't
part.
think Amazon gets credit for their
And then
retail
all the
business.
even the
I
put
know we're
shit that we were talking about
AWS.
yesterday. I mean,
For
they're
this
still
name,
down.
People like to talk about that. They
You just don't
accelerated
really see
growth
that
as well, so that's
3%
the one
without
that I've
seeing
been
3%.
looking
It's
to.
only
That's why I
half
have
a
not
percent
bought it
right
back.
now.
Yeah.
If I could, let me just clarify something as it relates to Nvidia. My feeling that you don't buy Nvidia here, you wait for a breakout above a new all-time high, it has nothing to do with Nvidia itself, the equity name. It's the fact that I think the animal spirits have left the market for whatever the reason is that you would like to cite, and I'd like to see those animal spirits return once again. And a breakout above a new all-time high
I think they read your
confirms
chat
that.
and they were like,
Steph
nah.
is right. If you look at the Mag
gotta
7, I
correct
think we
that.
basically went 7 for 7 with this earnings report. There really was no disappointment in any of these Mag 7 names. So the visibility in terms of strong earnings growth and the guidance towards continuing that into 2026, it's clear, it's there. And owning these Mag 7 names, to me, as core holdings, makes sense.
You know, to your point, we're showing the audience right now, only Tesla missed on EPS, and I think a lot of investors don't see that as a story where you're looking at this quarter, you're looking at the outlook with the robots and the robo-taxi, but one miss there, but the rest, a lot of green if you look to the right. So to your point, Brent, I want to come back over to you.
It could get worse
Your
if
view
the
on Nvidia,
staples
the move
go
it's
down.
making right now, the fact that it's moving lower after this
Or it'll probably
report,
bounce once we get
if
a real
crypto is
headline
factor, if market
and figure out
sentiment
what
is a
the
factor,
fuck it
Joe
is.
was saying animal spirits leaving the market. How do you view this company right now today?
Yeah, I think from a stock price, we have to separate the company, which is crushing it, from the stock price. What I did actually is I had sold calls 2 months ago at 200 that expire on Friday. So I was able to close those out today with about a 60% gain. And then I sold calls again for January at 220 of so 2.5 months from now. I do think this $200 for Nvidia is a ceiling. If it couldn't break through it today on these stellar numbers, and all that Jensen talked about, his view of depreciation, his view of the partnerships, if it can't be a sustainable rally today, I do think that $200 is going to be a ceiling until, to Joe's points, we get some more animal spirits. And even then, I still think $200 is going to be a tougher spot for it to break through. So I will continue to sell calls and take advantage of that, while I think the stock could trade somewhat sideways.
You know, I think about an hour for this show, we all thought we were doing a way different show about Nvidia and bullishness on the AI trade and the AI build out. Great note from Macquarie earlier today saying about 40 to 60% of CapEx for data center, it goes into chips. And still we're seeing chips trade a lot lower. In fact, Joe, one of your holdings, Micron, started the day positive. We're going to show the chart right here, down more than 9%.
Yeah, both Micron and AMD were kind of late to participating in the AI story. They kind of sat out on the sidelines, and there was this rebuilding of positions in both of those names more recent. I think Bryn talked about this the other day, and I agree. I think Micron is probably the better of all the DRAM memory plays that you can think about getting into. But the market right now is in the mood and in the environment of wanting to raise liquidity and remove a leverage that's in the system. And when you have names like AMD and Micron that have, to a certain extent, gone parabolic here over the last 45 days, they are clearly going to be susceptible to more aggressive selling than maybe some of the other semiconductor names that we view as quality, like a Broadcom, like a Lam Research, like a KLA Corp. Right.
One thing that doesn't seem to
Are
be
your guys' prices
because while you were talking,
correct?
I was the valuation of Micron, it's only trading at about 12 times forward earnings.
Hold
so
up.
Valuation doesn't seem to be the story, Steph.
I'm seeing like two different prices between E-Trade and fucking
we're talking about
TD.
this all throughout the day. Walmart's up about 6.5%.
Yeah, hold on.
For a
The
company
fucking
that size,
options
to
are
make a move,
breaking.
That's incredible.
I think
A lot
they
of
might
other
have
names
been
like
broken,
Broadcom,
dog.
Still higher. So when we're looking at these names right now, what do you think investors are looking at to decide which ones to sell, which ones to move higher?
Yeah, there's like a
always
weird
looked
lag
at it
between them.
is when a company
Even the
reports
options are
earnings
getting a
that
little
good
crowded.
And estimates are going
something.
higher, and the stocks actually go
It could
lower.
be the cyber attack.
I don't like that action. Joe will.
I mean,
Joe's
watch.
the
If
expert
gold
on that.
catches a bid or
But I don't
Bitcoin
like that
could
action,
lead.
But, I think
But
it is the
again, you're
opportunity
going to
over
do
the
this
long
for a
haul,
little
because
bit.
I do not know when this is going to end. Nobody does. I do not know the price of Bitcoin, where that's going to settle out. Nobody does. But when we do see a stabilization And it may take a couple of days, couple of weeks, but when we do, people will go back into the companies where the earnings estimates actually went higher. Because that is your opportunity. Stocks
Yeah,
follow
this is
profits
also
over
liquid. The
long
skew
haul,
isn't moving
on
as
the way
well.
up and on the way down. And the
So
ones
again,
that
you're
are
out of the
higher,
money.
but
Because
yet
even
the
out of the
stock
money
action isn't
downside,
good,
like people are not
that
rushing
doesn't
to
scare me at all.
protection.
That actually
I don't
gives
know
me
if they
the
can't or not.
confidence to be
I don't know if
adding
it's one of the
some of
if
those
it's a
numbers. That's one
glitch,
of the
but
reasons, by the way,
out of
that
the
I was
money
adding
still,
to
like
Meta
even put
and adding
protection
to
is not.
Microsoft, and I'm gonna
They're
add
not
to
running to it
Teradyne,
yet.
because these are great.
So it's
great
only you're
companies
making
that
money
are
if
now
you're in the
getting
money,
caught
near
up
the money,
in all of
but
this
this is
noise,
more
and I
just
think that that's
selling
the
rather
long-term
than it is
opportunity.
So
protecting.
would
or
you count Palo Alto
panic.
Networks in that
As
same,
odd as that may
I
sound.
guess, basket or
Does it
bucket?
look
You own it,
panicky
Joe,
here,
is it
but none of that's
bring you on the
reflecting.
BUG that holds it as well? I mean, Steph, is that in that same basket? The current quarter guidance was a bit weak, but it was a strong report.
Oh, it was a very strong report. I think it has nothing to do with the earnings because they beat and they raised guidance. I think it has to do with the second acquisition that they've done.
Chronosphere?
Yeah, they did another,
Yes.
right? So I think they've done 2 deals now in a span of like 2 months. And I think that's a lot
and
to
bonds
handle.
going up.
That's a lot for any company to handle. While I do think it is very, very bullish for the long haul, platformization is what it is all about. It's offering the most stuff for your customers, and not one company out there, not even CrowdStrike, which is the very best, Palo Alto's number 2, none of them offer 100% of their stuff to their customers. And so you need to make acquisitions. And I've said this many times, there are 4,000 companies in cybersecurity world, private and public. We're going to see massive consolidation. We're already starting to see, I think, the big 5 get bigger and bigger and bigger. And if people don't like this acquisition for the short term, I think they're missing out on the long term and what the needs are for their customers.
Very quick acquisitions, though. The CyberArk was what, $25 billion back in July, and now this is about a $3.5 billion deal several months later. So the market's kind of looking at that.
I don't even know if these prices are correct, dude. So be careful.
The core of the business is really strong, and a lot of the bookings have a longer duration, which lends itself
yeah, you
well
pretty much find the
if you want
ones that are
this
barely
along with
red or
CrowdStrike
not red
as
yet.
more of that
If you
core
want to panic, those
cybersecurity
would be the
holding.
one. But it has to be
these
like
two are
tech related. It
distinguishing
can't be
themselves
like
above all else.
No question
it
about
can't
it.
be
CEO
like
said
a
last
Procter
night on the call,
Gamble or
78%
something
of
like that.
organizations are implementing
It wouldn't be
AI.
like a
Only
I think it's the
94%
ransomware, dude.
are still
If my shit starts fucking up, remember, wasn't Tyree? Weren't you talking about one for sale yesterday for $1 million?
If you don't believe
What
the
if
total
fucking
addressable
Robinhood
market
got
is bigger
clapped?
than AI after those kind of statements,
But then again, they're not buying puts right now. They're not buying out of the money puts. The puts are going up with the computer as it drops dollar because it's too big of a drop. But yeah, the out of the some like SanDisk, WDC, Palantir, out of the money puts, you would think they would be ripping. But no one's panicking like that.
Also partially
or at least it's not reflecting.
Today, but just to put some context on bugs.
But yeah, if you want any day, you're already late. But if you want downside shit, it has to be a name that's already green or barely red.
We're $1 away from the April lows, like when we had Liberation Day. And so, you know, that just shows you how far, really since November, bug was like close to 30, 36. It's now about to break 30. And so that's, to me, an opportunity where I'll be looking to add here, because if you're just getting a sell-off back to those April lows, to me, like Steph said, is like these companies, I believe, are secular winners. There's going to be some more than others. But when you're getting this type of drawdown, which I don't think is fundamentally driven, I think it's a very good opportunity for me to add to bug in a diversified way when I'm hitting, once again, close to the April lows that we saw earlier this year.
You know, while we're talking about lows right now, the NASDAQ actually hit a session low right now, down just about 1%. Also, our data team doing
I wouldn't
great
be
work.
confused. I'm not confused. It's just cloudy.
Lowest level since about, you're
That's
about to
all.
say this about since late
Like
April.
I said, this isn't too scary, but it is. There's just too much got thrown at it.
And I think
you're not going to really.
had a
It's like,
conversation
I don't
with
know.
Bryn several weeks
Tasting
ago about
food.
crypto, and I said I
That's
believe
very,
our
very
strategy
strong. And then there's a
was
lot of
late
ingredients.
to crypto holdings. Late to adding.
That's why, like, you can't
Coinbase,
tell if
and
it's
we
fucking
added
salt. You
strategy
can't
as
tell
well.
if it would.
And when we
But
added
there's
strategy,
something there. That's all.
I
That's what I'm
literally
saying.
felt
Like, you
as
can
though
see there's
I wanted to
something, but
vomit
it's
at
you
that
don't know
moment.
exactly what it
I did not
is.
want to have strategy.
But
Strategy
at the
is
same
not-
time,
it
it's
qualifies for the S&P 500.
It's still
but it's not
very.
in there because it has not gotten
There's
that
too
approved.
many
There's
weird
nothing
things.
we could do about that. because
But I wouldn't be
purely the
tripping
rules
just
say,
yet.
okay, based on
That's
momentum,
what I said. If you
you
want to
add
panic, you go
strategy
for the
in,
ones
and
that are
obviously at the next
barely
rebalance, we'll deal
red
with it.
or
But
just
you
about
have
to go
look at
red.
what's going on
There's
with
some
this
decent
stock.
ones out there.
And I think if you pull the lens back here,
But even
let's
then,
go
like
back,
I've been
if we
telling you
could,
from the morning, even to
for
the upside, you need to be
2025,
near the
you're
money.
talking about
Otherwise,
a
this is
significant
just
decline
liquidation, but not in
where
the sense of
leverage
like
exists, right?
different than like
And
a
as
Bitcoin
moves
liquidation,
lower,
but
I
more
think you
so
wanna keep this individual
like near the
equity
money
name
has to
on
go.
your
Even the out of the
screen.
money golds
By the
didn't
way,
hit.
for us, thankfully, we're equally weighted, so it's down to being a nominal position of like 45 basis points. But still, I'm not proud that we own it, and I acknowledge that. But I think it's indicative of the mood of the market, and you have to be willing to change and understand when you see the signals.
All right. The signals. So yeah, I see. But if enough people pile into that's what I'm saying. Maybe you got to crowd the puts again for it to go up. Fed intervention, VIX at 40. Usually it's never happened without it. And then that's going back to October 17th. Yeah, the VIX is even volatile, but now see the bonds too. Because now this time on the downside, you have bonds up. Last time people tripped out because that wasn't happening. But then the weird part is gold hasn't liquidated yet, but Bitcoin just took a 5% move top to bottom. That's usually not that crazy. I think around October 17th, Bitcoin was like opening up down 4 or 5%. But yeah, it's the gold would have usually tracked with that. But then again, maybe if people are panicking enough, yeah, you can't hack gold. That is true. And then if they are actually worried and buying gold, that could be holding it up. But I mean, gold is just up too much, though. So, yeah. No, I think this one's a little unusual. I wouldn't be quick to jump to your, like, I don't know if it's the boomers. I don't know what it is. But there's a couple of things. We'll find out. Let it stabilize a little bit, but just watch Bitcoin. Look here, let me put it this way. What the fuck is the dollar doing? That doesn't make any sense. That's why today is so. Usually on something like this, your dollar would have had some reaction. The dollar's not even moving. That's the weirdest part about this. Like I'm saying, we got the bonds, but then the bonds oddly stopped being volatile. Now they're moving, but yeah, it's the dollar's not even reacting to this. That's what I'm saying. Gold would react. I mean, even the damn yen, Japan, all of that. It could be leading, but that was too big. That's what I'm saying. Usually, and then if someone was rushing to something, or again, if you're going from stocks to dollar, you would see something. It's Nancy. It could be a front run. Not the front running the dollar. Somebody could be front running something else, but it would have to be a blow up. But then even then, the dollar would go up. So none of your real indicators are reflecting what equities are reflecting. Only thing reflecting this like pain is Bitcoin. That's it. But like it's not the usual suspects, the usual signals. Maybe oil. Now that I think about it. But then again, oil has been subdued. All right, man, you just hit 65.80. It could have just been a sell program, honestly, after break, because I don't think you were supposed to break 6,700. Remember, that was like one of those zones, and then ever since then, it just started going. Yeah, then you have the expiration tomorrow. That's why I'm like, I'm not really like panicked on this. Nah, bro, even oil, I think it's odd. I'm sorry, I wish I could give you guys a better answer, but I just think it's odd. You don't have like, but then also too, it's not fear, but somebody's liquidating something, but not in a sense to affect the dollar, which usually you sell 3% on the NASDAQ in any direction, any type that would have used the dollar would do something, but the dollar is not doing anything. That was your last straw, really. Yeah, low ticker's still maxed out right now. You're trying to dance right here, but you need something else. Maybe the VIX will hit a high before we hit the low. But that's not even doing that how it would. Yeah, so I don't know. Choose your frustration. Even if tomorrow, Fridays are usually been good, but at the same time, you're gonna get something. Do you get what I'm saying? So I would be starting to look ahead to the real answer to this. So you don't need to have it, but you do need to start looking ahead. You got to just think, because let it just do this. Let it work its way through this and figure it out. But you got to keep thinking ahead. But yeah, this is one of the oddest days I've seen. I think for everybody. You haven't seen a day like this, because usually these types of moves are correlated with something. But then again, we were just talking about sedition, and they're talking all these other, there's so many weird little factors. But then again, just give me the dollar, give me the gold. But until then, I'm not panicking until I see that. Like I said, you could go for the other stuff if you want. If you want to find something that's like barely going red, those are like even Apple to the downside. That's still green. You see what I'm saying? Those could be your late panic plays if you want to, but none of your indicators are telling you to panic. Or so unless your check engine light's broken, none of the gauges are going. It's like seeing smoke from your engine, but your temperature gauge is not moving. That's what I'm saying. And usually that means it's either not smoke from the engine or there's something outside of the car. But something's odd with this one. You don't have anything dollar. Give me a dollar, give me a gold, give me some. Only thing is Bitcoin. But then again, that should move the dollar to a certain degree. So that's why I'm saying, let's see where this finishes, because then if it all comes back up, half of this, you give back half of this, we're back to the green. But then it goes down another half of this, that should move the dollar. But that's why, so keep in mind late stage plays, panic plays, and then also keep in mind upside for next week too, or even if you want to play the bounce there. But I wouldn't be you need something else to move, man. I don't even think anybody's country's bonds. Nah, Japan would be affecting you at some degree. You'd even get the dollar move. Like, go back to the last time. When was that Japan flash crash? Was that last year? Right? Wasn't that September, August of last year? You guys remember what I'm talking about? I think it was here. August 5th. I think even then you had the dollar moving. Yeah, even then the dollar fucking plummeted. Where was that? 2022. Yeah, no, the dollar has to move. It does. Well, no, they also remember, as the GDP update came in, and then you had another set of those hacks, and then you had the Trump thing, and then I think there's one more thing. There's too many balls to juggle. That's your best move of the day. Right here. Right, just chilling out a little bit right there. Yeah. Well, are Japan yields going down? Alright, yeah, even then, the premiums are still... Well, you've already had a lot of front run opportunities for... This is just 20... I said it even this morning. I was like, dude, this is perfectly like 2018. That's the sad part. I said, I wouldn't be afraid, but yeah, that's the setup. It feels good. It looks like you dodged a bullet this morning with the good earnings, but like we knew it's going to be bumpy. I'm That's what I said. Just keep your head on a swivel and watch for the sell off the morning. But yeah, this is even 2018 had panic though. But after this, that's the beauty. As odd as that may sound, is that after today, you might really get panic being able to set in now on these moves, because that was enough to that fucked with everybody. You don't see it. That's, remember I was telling you how frustrating 2018 was. Imagine today. So now imagine the next move up or down. People are gonna get pissed. And then we just need to get a new high. If we can't hit that new high, oh dude, it's gonna be a violent month and a half. And violent is up and down, motherfucker. Not just one way. That's why you started off very good. Alrighty. This feels like one of the earnings too on Nvidia. Which one was that? Yeah, right here. August 24. This was like the flash crash. That's what I think they had earnings around that time too. Let me double check. So yeah, I mean, don't be mad if it goes up, and at the same time you still might have another gap down in store. It's just gonna get fucking volatile without your normal metrics of volatility. So get ready. Yeah, it was around August too. That's what it feels like right here. So you got another gap down in store and another rip, but it doesn't even have to. If it doesn't hit a high, you'll come right back down. And that's what happened in 2024. And then that correlates with Japan and all that too. But yeah, usually the dollar would be moving. That's all you need. You need the dollar. If you want this to be easy, otherwise we're gonna keep saying everything we keep saying here. But yeah, this is getting frustrating for, I think, all of everybody, bulls and bears. You see what I'm saying? This is literally 2018. But then right when you think it's 2018, it'll not be 2018. If that's right when you think it is, you'll be like, it's 2018. It's not 2018. Yeah, this is why I said with some of the futures there, because at least with the options, I mean, we took a couple of small, I took what, $30 play on Nvidia this morning. And then I took another, the one on Walmart is still up 100%, believe it or not. That play is actually still killing it, but just keep it small. That's why I said you could go small, FOMO if you wanted this morning, but I thought we were going to come down right here and then you could reposition or here at worst case, but then it just kept going. And now without anything stepping in the way. Trump admin readying plan to ease legal hurdles for government layoffs. Long term is your friend, but don't be deceived. Is there any new prices? That's the shitty part. Maybe Target. Yeah, Target's the only one with a new price. That's the shitty part, because like the ones you'd want to buy aren't going down. Like I'm saying, it's fucked up. And then everything's just back to the higher levels they were at a week ago. And then some just back to where they were at yesterday. Yeah, you can't even pick up anything. I want new prices. So you're going to have to be patient, dog. You're going to have to be patient. Airbnb, oh maybe, but no, I was fucking hit 101 this year, and I think travel demand is worse than the beginning of the year. Okay, even Tesla, is Tesla barely red? Yeah, that could be another one. And then Apple is still in the green. Let me see my Apple call. I have those free ones. Remember from yesterday, that was the only premium that stayed up. Yeah, dude, my Apple plays are break even. That's fucking weird. That's what I'm saying. That Apple play, I made it free. It gaps up today on a move where nothing else gapped up, and now Apple comes down to red, makes a fucking 2% move, and they're back to break even. Those should be washed. So yeah, even the premiums are not your friend. Nothing's your friend right now, brothers. That's why even the dollar won't even show you anything. It's been a long time since I've seen something like this. Not like the market, just the dollar not fucking moving. On a 3, now you're going even more. So again, panic plays are going up, but that's it. It's either panic play if it's barely red, but that you're gonna lose that last call opportunity. And don't get mad if it bounces. Don't do anything, bro. You don't, honestly, or keep it fucking small and let the small balloon into big if you really insist. And I encourage you to keep looking ahead, both up and down. But yeah, you haven't even, nobody's even came out and said anything. You got to realize that. You don't really have any other headlines, no updates. And then you still have 5 swirling reasons that could be part of this. I mean, that is what we talked about a week ago. Chop City, the best thing you could do is nothing. That's what I say if you're, yeah, you might miss out on a put, but right when you buy the put, it's gonna fucking rip. So yeah, just be mindful of that. You don't have to panic on this. That's what I'm saying. And then now value's going up. I mean, we have Procter Gamble's, and your XBI is actually working, but now, nope, XBI gave it up. That's weird too. Let me see some puts on that, but I don't think they'll move. But I wouldn't get the puts on XBI. That thing's been strong. Like I said, if it's tech, I would look at tech, barely red or barely green. That's your best shot right now if you want to take it. Or you could just do nothing. And then again, the only risk of doing nothing is if it goes down and you're like, I could have made $1. You see what I'm saying? And then if it's the same thing. And even exiting calls early if they keep going. If they have time and go up, but some of them did get really washed. Yeah, it's not bad though. That's disgusting. So yeah, even the calls that should have got washed are like 30%. They're sad. You're only getting robbed, dude, if you're on a fucking daily or a next week. So anything with past the like December, we're talking 20% up, 20% down. Like I'm saying, those apples are fucking break even. That should have been destroyed. So the volatility is helping keep your calls up. Your calls are gonna go down when we bounce. I hope you hear me right now. You guys understand me? Your calls are going to go down when you bounce. That's the fucked up part. Your puts are going to go slower on some of these days. But then, yeah, the calls are going to go down when you bounce. Because the calls are still up. These aren't bad. That's what I'm telling you. You've seen that before. Well, think about it. Because now the calls, they're just dropping the bid. They're keeping the asks pretty decent. If anybody's trying to play the bounce, you're going to pay the market maker. They're not going to fill you in between. And then when it goes up and it's slow, that's when the ask is going to go lower, and then the bid's not going to climb as much. And then that's where the destruction is. So this is the first half of it. But then if it rips, remember Netflix this week? That's what happened with Netflix. You guys remember that, right? Literally this week we had the Netflixes. Those were on short terms. So Netflix this week, you were down 60%. And then we bottom ticked it. You had 100 to 400% depending on how you closed it. Or no, I was right here on Monday. This was 60% down. And then we did 2 different purchases. Then that led to all the gains. And then boom, it just got washed. But if it doesn't rocket up as fast, you're going to get destroyed. That's what's going to happen. So understand that dynamic if you're trading options. That's going to help you out. And that should have you think clearly to make a good move. Because like I'm telling you, the calls aren't down that much if you have them. Certain puts, it all depends on how much you're in the money. But this is only the first half. That's what I'm telling you. Look ahead to the next move. It's the first half of it. You could call it the bottom, but make sure you plan accordingly. You're going to have to get in the money probably, or have a decent amount of time, because now the risk is going to be the calls go down when we bounce. So just watch out for that. That's crazy. Because, yeah, I'm looking through all these calls, dude. They're not bad. But then I'm like, oh, I know what's going to happen. It's gonna go up, and you're gonna be like, my calls aren't moving. How come my call? That's exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah, it has to be news to get. You need to rock it up, otherwise they're gonna wipe everything. And now they're already killed the short-term guys for the expiration. But anything short-term is gonna get murdered. But then if you could get a huge stick to the upside, you'll have more hope. But without any velocity up, it's not going to look good. There's no real reason why we were down. There's a couple of factors post earnings. You know, a lot of people were expecting the little Nvidia quick sell-off, you know, after kind of gapping up. But then it was like 5 different things, from sedition to GDP update on the release. What else was there? You guys name them. There was 5 different things. All right. I don't know if Trump is speaking. Yeah, they're putting out shit now. They're saying AI failed to spark rally, China restrictions, fears of AI bubble, scrutiny over mega deals. That's not even it. There's way more from that. And then Bitcoin, it started with Bitcoin. Once again, that was the other day. It was fucking Bitcoin. I'm telling you, that was the only thing that was willing to give it up while everything was chilling. And then that's kind of been the theme we've been looking at with the liquidity stuff too. Well, yeah, I mean, Nvidia moved a lot top to bottom. I mean, again, this is a 3.5% day. So from here to here, you could pull up the NASDAQ. This is a 3.5% move. So that's not light. You're not seeing 3% at the score. That's the crazy part. Let me put it this way. If you finally hit your 3% down day, that will be a, what? 5.5% top to bottom move? That's nutty, without any real catalyst. And without any move in the dollar. There you look. Now the dollar's going up a little bit. Well, well, well. So now watch if gold, and then that'll be another leg on Bitcoin if the dollar gets hit. The dollar won't get hit, it's gonna run. Well, yeah, man, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you had a look back option, I don't know, I know, but hey, they just got charts on mobile. No, bad timing. You don't want to bet on the weather? Why don't we bet on the weather, guys? No, who cares? No, okay. I'm sorry, I'll go home. My bad. I know. Touchy subject. I know this sucks. I would like a real 3% down day. But then a real 3% down day is going to come with... That's going to be... At this point, it'll be 5%. Take it or leave it, Habibi. Take it or leave it. Hello, Bitcoin. Hello. With Schiller Cape. I mean, you just paid to tell me, so tell me what's up. But no, I'm not. Unless I don't like abbreviations all the time. I'm kind of a dum-dum. All right, man, you're fully maxed out on the low ticker again. That's it, bro. And dude, those little bounces are even washing the panic plays. Who's it gonna be? I'm going to find you one. Well, I'm gonna find you a panic set too. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. You still have some puts that are red. These are terrible, though. So yeah, you either, honestly, you nibble very small on any panic place. Just keep it simple. You're gonna, and if it's short term, the best play is to do nothing. Some of you do not want to hear that on a day like today, but yeah, the best play is nothing. If you want to take small ones, yeah, we're talking every 10 bucks you could turn into 100 is awesome, but if you go big on any of these and they get washed, you're going to regret it. Because then again, if it's small enough and does its work, I mean, that's what any of the plays that hit today are like that. That's why when I'm looking at them. It's a PE ratio adjusted for inflation. Shows when the market is overall cheap or way overvalued. We hit 40 on it. I mean, do you have like I don't want to open up a spreadsheet, but I'll take a look. I mean, it sounds familiar. We were talking just about, I want to use PE ratio more or less, but the thing that keeps sticking out is that just this is a time in history where you're watching like a big portion of the market has been red. And it's like down by a lot, like, besides the Mag 7. So I keep bringing it up every day. I would keep looking for, I would keep looking at stuff that has been beaten down and is going to be here in 10 years. Because some of them, it's been several years of this. So it's one of the best opportunities out there. But, I think you're looking in the right place. I'm not going to buy the S&P. I tried to earlier this year, but individual, if you really got a knack for finding quality or even sustainability that'll be here, I mean, looking to buy right now, not on the dumb shit that's already still up 20% after this, but like the shit that's already down 30, 20, and was down substantially prior, I'm a big fan of that right now. I am not turned off by any of that. I've been screaming it for 2 weeks in a row. But yeah, so I think your head's in the right place. Whatever the ratio is, it's a matter of you either see it or you don't. That's what I really feel right now. It's either you see the opportunity and you see very good quality names trading at multi-year discounts that are not going anywhere and will only benefit off of the future. And like you either want that or you feel like you're gonna miss out because of tech and blah blah blah, and you want to buy it only because you have the safety of the crowd. But you could go and there's 200 names right now that are red, 100 something below 20%, 70 names in the red. It's insane. I mean, yeah, a lot of people were saying it was going to sell off. People wanted it to. People were very disappointed that Nvidia did good, but I don't even think this was your crash move. That's what I'm saying. Like this, if you had an out of the money play, you got shit. That's the craziest part. And then nothing else. I mean, Bitcoin. If you shorted Bitcoin, that was money. That I really, really think was a good idea, because that was the only thing that's been really, really moving. But we'll see. Keep in mind the next move, because like now, the next move means puts aren't going to go up as much and calls aren't going to go up as much. That's the problem. Oh my God, it's already time for Philo? Oh, Lord save us. I think they're just raking in the chips. And then get ready to flip a couple of things too. And even small calls as well. I'm just throwing tiny ones, bro. I think make them work. But that's the problem, because that's why I keep saying no play is the best play right now, because even if you throw the small ones, they're not going to move as much. So I'm not expecting anything big unless velocity hits heavy. This does feel like 2018 though. Oh man. I think the ransomware might be a big part of this, unfortunately, because they said there were some big name companies that got hit with it. And I don't know, this could be the second wave of the AI attacks. You guys don't realize it was just like 2 weeks ago you had your first ever like AI attack. So yeah. Can you send me a prayer request? I'll give you one better. I would turn off the computer right now and go straight to the man himself, the Lord Jesus Christ. So I don't think I haven't been doing the prayer requests. I still pray for y'all, and I look at if you still have the link, but I think you should, I want you to go to the source. Don't rely on your boy. Rely on the man. Jesus. You have to go pee, but you can't bring yourself to look away. I could ban you if that will help. It says you can't go pee, but you could type a random ass message saying you can't look away. So you looked away to tell us you can't look away. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of odd. Go take care of yourself. I'm about to go start talking about Jesus. Y'all about to get pissed off.
I bet the market are down. I thought the market down. What are you talking about? I thought the stock market live. What do you mean stock market live? What are you talking about? The live market and the low market? What are you talking about? Why you do that?
So yeah, you'll be good, Doc. Jesus. Goolsby, there's 2% target stance, 3% inflation is too high. And then 9% inflation we don't talk about. I'll just keep the dollar up. I think it's a good. I already planted small ones both ways. I'm in on everything, but tiny. I don't care because those are the only ones. If it really makes a fat move up or down, small could turn to big, but I'm not really trying to put big to turn to little. I think if it's too late at this point. And they got the steamroller out today. The ransomware and the sedition comments. There's some weird shit today, bro. Headline wise, mixed in with this type of move. All right, your Apple panic plays hit, but dog, they're going. That candle brought the panic plays up more than these three. That's amazing. Yeah, this is terrible. This is terrorism. I'm pretty sure this is considered terrorism because they hate you, everybody. So yeah, keep it small, dude. Keep it small or do nothing at all. Hey, yo, GH, Guardian. This looks, see, that's a green, any green or red, those are the ones, but I think tech specifically. Pray for you. How you say pray and make it about Jesus and then post your play? My guy. Stop. You guys know just because I like the people who don't bring up the Bible more. Because most of the people on the internet who try to talk Jesus, y'all fake as fuck. Let's just be real. You could say the same about me, but fuck. At least I'm telling you it straight up. Y'all crazy. Yeah, that's why. That's what I learned the other day on my Twitter. Y'all fake as hell, and same thing too. So I don't just. You know the rules, brother. You know the rules. Don't play with me. Don't play with your brother. May the Lord bless you, or may the Lord deal with you. But whichever it is, I would turn around quickly. All right, well, I'm gonna set up Philo. Speak of the devil, Jesus. The irony. Don't let the light be dark and the dark be light. Oh, what a deep hole. I think some parts of the economy are in a recession, or some companies are reflecting it, and maybe Main Street will catch up with it. Amen. Christ is a part of you too, brother. I hope everything you do shines. I hope you judge me on the work that I do, not because I do the Jesus stuff, and vice versa, man. And judge a fruit by its tree. But like, that's why everyone talk, dude. That's what I'm saying. Everybody, that's it, man. Just, you can say the right words. We will not trust them. Truly is a turning point. Turn from the destruction. Malibu's most wanted guy? Why are you talking shit? You're just asking me what kind of car I drive. Your chat facts is so funny. You love me. I love you. But yeah, man. Don't let 3% get to you. Okay? Y'all forgot, bro. You know I love this shit, right? Like, I don't know if you realize, crazy. You guys, I was broken a long time ago, so this is very normal. I hope you realize that. So yeah, man, I just don't let it get to you, man. I hope you guys will be okay. But you know, remember, it costs $4.99 to talk your shit. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Actually, you know what's happening now, right, y'all? Because I had to ban too many of you. You guys, you know what's going to happen to the delay when we go to Philo, right? It's not ransomware. I think it's ransomware through the people who can't handle themselves. Like I said, I liked yesterday. You guys did very good under pressure. And pressure and politics, that's what I want to see. But if you crack under pressure, dog, then what the fuck? What have I taught you? I need capable men. Okay, the apples are break even. Getting hit with the Yashware. This is a weird day, though. I'm telling you, in most days, you could sense the volatility or it shows in other ways. This one has too many random ass things, and then the move is much more sizable. But then that could be because of Nvidia too. Like I'm saying, the dollar, right when the dollar was moving, it got a little interesting, but it's still pretty odd. All right, if you could get above here or here, you'll be good. But then if that gets locked up, I know if Nvidia was bad, I don't think anybody told them it was good though. I think the computers were set for that. But I do think the Bitcoin shit sucks. That was odd. The other hacking and then mix it in with like fucking treason. Like, I don't know, man. This was one for the books though. You might see, like, we'll find out when this all settles, but you don't really see these too often. All right. Chattadonia. I don't know if this is a good time, but market usually loves it. Maybe we could calm everybody down with some good teaching from the word. How does that sound? Can I interest you in the Lord? No? Maybe? So we're going to go to Philo. It's free to listen. You could click on the link, but maybe if you're really caught up in the market. I mean, again, I gave you a little point to put some small plays down, so, you know, maybe that ends up working for you. Yeah, look, the calls are going down! Oh, that Apple call is lower. I fucking love it. Yeah, and I already told you what's going to happen. It's going to literally, the calls are going to go down as you go up. The ones that weren't down as much. So yeah, get ready for it. And enjoy your evening, or your day, your morning, whichever one you call it. Levitt is going live. Let's see how much weight she puts on the sedition comments. But yeah, we'll move on over to Philo. We put on the link. You have to go to a different video because people will cry. Because I thought it was Talk Market Live. So it'll say Philo, philosophy. We're going to talk life philosophies. I hope you have a good philosophy in life. If you want to make a lot of money and value and understand stock appreciation, it starts with investing in things that you appreciate in real life. So yeah, don't come if you don't want to listen. But if you do, you know, you'll get it. And like I told, you know, you guys, was genuinely telling you guys earlier, like, if you're really like emotional and feel like you can't step away from the screen, you can't look away, you can't talk about whatever you want because the market, then you might be over levered. I don't know who needs to hear this because you can. You know that? I could get up right now and it won't change anything. So make sure you're at peace, brother. All right? And that's always good for you. Yeah, if you can't, then you must. Oh! Fire. Amen. What a great Philo. Well, Chad, I love you. I'll see you there. And have a wonderful day. The link will be in the chat. So just head on over. Bye.